On this episode of the podcast, we sit down with two of our buddies and fellow Northeast fishermen. We've known both of these guys for a while and have had the pleasure of fishing together and competing against each other in our local tournament circuit up here in the Northeast. They're both extremely skilled offshore fishermen, and between the two of them have logged over 250 trips to the Northeast Canyons. They've spent the majority of their careers as freelance captains and mates, and they've fished aboard many reputable boats and programs, including Castafari Sportfishing, Rebel Sportfishing, Pescaria Sportfishing, aboard Provider Sportfishing, the Gypsea, Rally Cap, and with another guest of ours that's been on the show, Joe Ferrulli and NautiBill. They've both been a part of tournament winning and placing teams, including the Tri-State Shootout, the Bluffs Bluewater Classic, the Big Game Battle, and the Northeast Offshore Cup. They've been contributors to over $300,000 in tournament winnings. One of our guests is currently the first mate aboard a 66-foot Spencer Conspiracy and has recently been fishing in the Bahamas and in Florida. And prior to his work, or prior to working on the Conspiracy, he's fished with many living legends, including Captain Archie Jost, who you may know was Linda Greenlaw's mate for a while, long liner, a true legend in the offshore commercial fishing and sport fishing industry, is one of our guest mentors. Our other guest is currently working as a freelance captain and mate, working aboard several of the boats and the programs that I already mentioned. And he actually just recently bought his own boat, and we'll be fishing Mass Bay and the inshore/offshore waters that we actually fish primarily with our own charter company. These two guys are awesome people. They're great examples of hungry, passionate, hardworking young fishermen, and a lot can be learned from them and laughed about from them and from this conversation. We share a few hysterical stories, tournament stories, tournament banquet stories. We talk about canyon fishing, giant bluefin tuna fishing, daytime sword fishing, green stick fishing, really the whole gamut. It was a blast. We had a couple beers. This was several weeks ago during our off season, and we hope you enjoy this conversation as much as we did. Without further ado, please welcome to the podcast Captain Mike Murphy and Anders Slicklen, a.k.a. Slick. Welcome to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast, where we follow 3 words of wisdom. You can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight.
Am I coming off or what? Get that down. Don't get on that.
Well, first off, cheers, boys.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No nerves, just a bunch of jokes and fish stories.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good to be here. I think so.
So we have
fishing things and non-fishing things.
Yeah.
Let's start with a fishing thing.
Oh, yeah. Let's start with like random rapid fire questions just to get the juices flowing a little bit. Mm-hmm. Canyon trip pet peeves. You show up to the boat or you're mid-trip fishing with a new group of people, you're a hired hand, whatever. Canyon fishing pet peeves.
Canyon fishing pet peeve.
Could be bait rigging. Could be what people
Just
bring.
positive attitude in general. Like, it's going to happen, guys. Like, it's going to happen. Like,
Yeah. That's your
that's
biggest
the
pet
biggest
peeve.
thing.
So the
Even after
negativity.
something
Negativity. A slow bite negativity is no good.
So how about guys that immediately show up to the boat and they're like, how many big guys are we gonna catch? Like, is that's against the grain?
Like as far like a charter group, and then like showing up to a boat and like fishing with a bunch of new guys for the first time, or like two different things. Like the charter,
I would say it's split it up into a charter group pet peeve and then like working with someone pet peeve without mentioning names, like something that somebody did they like. You're like, really?
I feel I feel like setting expectations going into it when you're like setting up a canyon trip or you're invited or whatever it is, kind of knowing what you're getting yourself into, like knowing the boat, knowing the captain, knowing the crew and all that, and being, you know, preparing yourself so you don't have the oh shit moments and the pet peeves. You can like prepare for them.
Slick's thinking right now.
You know what I really fucking grinds my gears is
We want to hear the real truth.
Can we eliminate that screensaver?
Yeah, I will.
Just so it's not distracting.
the ice situation.
It's just rotating.
Oh, like not having
Like not
ice.
having enough ice. That like
It's
really
a good problem to have.
That really gets to me. You know,
But just like not even having enough to start with, like not like having a crazy good
Yeah.
trip, just like not even enough to
just
like.
not having enough ice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've been on at least a half a dozen trips
Yeah.
where like you get the one quality fish and you can't even cool it down
Yeah.
properly.
It's summertime. Not
Horrible.
And that's always when it goes right, though, is when you have no ice and you're like, fucking fill in the box.
Yeah,
Like, what
Yeah.
do we do?
I know. Did you spill
A little
over
bit.
yourself?
A little bit.
I mean, there's been several times, even on commercial boats, like on Battle Wagon, we've had to get ice from Mikey on the Sinful.
Yeah.
And like that boat's got 2 ice makers. So you'd never think like, oh,
That
we're
boat's
running out of
ridiculous.
Ice. Yeah, it's crazy.
That boat is an absolute machine, dude.
Yeah.
Both of them are.
It's
Battle
in
wagon
fact
and
a
like-
battle wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, fishing next to them on the bank in November and December, it's like fishing next to a skyscraper.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
sitting inside with the heat on. It's
Oh,
just
watching
terrible.
television.
I mean, they fish so
Watching
hard
them
too,
go,
but
watching those boats go by is something to see.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
How about like having a second mate, you know, that's maybe just getting going type of pet peeve?
kind of.
Go ahead.
I'd rather have someone that's like just getting going that you can kind of talk with and work
Mold.
with,
Yeah.
mold. You know what I mean? Like, hey, here's what's successful. Let's keep doing this.
And who doesn't ask too many
rather
questions?
than like
Or
a few situations where like someone's just like not doing the right thing and like continues to do the right thing and won't take constructive criticism. That's kind of a pet peeve.
Yeah. Not listening.
Yeah, like
Not adapting to the
not
program.
adapting. Yeah, yeah. And you know that, like we both fish on Pescaria and like,
Yeah.
you know, we're in the cockpit, Miles is in the bridge, and like you're fishing on Miles's program,
Totally.
not fishing on Mike's program, not fishing on Brian's program,
Yeah.
and like just understanding that.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you'll be with some other people and it's like, you know, they're trying to put their lure out or rig it this way or put it in the clip
At
this
the end of the
way.
day,
Or,
someone's making the decision.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even simple shit like putting the flat line here
Yeah.
on a band rather than in the clip or whatever.
One of my pet peeves is when people can't learn like where the rods go.
Oh
like, over, under, and
Dude.
Like
how
Not
many
big,
times
or,
do you
like, long,
have
or
a five,
short,
like you
or-
have
Yeah,
a five
yeah.
banger and you have all these rods in like a
Yeah.
total disaster. Like where do they go?
Yeah.
I can see Slick.
like I feel like telling someone 3 times is like about the max, but
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
beyond that, it drives me fucking crazy.
It is.
Dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking bananas.
Well, especially when you have to keep mentioning it like 4 or 5 times, and I just stop mentioning it. And I'll just go over and do it myself. And
Right.
Go over and be like,
Yeah.
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 I've been on some boats where we, you know, in the very beginning, we label and number each holder, to
Yeah.
each rod, just to like start it off. But, you know, like you said, 3-4 times, this lure has been fishing here,
Yeah.
you know, for a day and a half. Like,
You know what's worse? If there's straight butts and bent butts. And
oh
then,
yeah,
and then you're
they're going in
fucking
the wrong holder.
your cockpit ingenuity is all screwed up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, I've had a couple. We lost an 80 wide doing that in the Bahamas, high speed trolling. That was actually with Archie back in the day.
Really?
Or back in
What,
the day,
out of
say
it?
like 2014, 15.
Yeah.
It was out of the Rocket, and we forgot our safety leashes at the dock, and Archie's like, yeah, we'll just crimp some 400-pound, it'll hold. Like, sure enough, like the first bite was out of that one of the 2 rods that was in the Rocket, and I'm up in the bridge standing with Matt and just like watch the thing go over the back. Like you heard the 400 pounds snap like a toothpick, and then it was just like over the back, and like Matt was like furious. Archie was like, it's my fault. Yeah, but like that was probably the first hour of trolling, first bite.
Yeah.
Like
How many rods have you lost in your fishing career? How many rods have you seen go
think
into
that
the
was-
ocean
I've
attached
lost-
to a
I think
fish?
that was the only one.
I've lost 4.
4.
2 inshore,
Attached
2,
to tunas?
2 offshore. 2 like one was a groundfish rod, one was a bass rod, and then 2.
All charters fault.
I lost a 70
Yeah.
and I lost a 50.
Tell the outrigger. You lost. Remember, you lost like a 50, then you had to cut the girl's hair off.
So
You had to do a Britney Spears on the boat.
charter.
Tell it in extreme detail, please, dude, because this is fucking unbelievable.
I don't remember what month it was. This was probably
2008.
10,
trolling like
15 years ago.
50 to 60-inch tunas.
Trolling 50s with decent sized squid bars, all like Bryce said, 50 to 65-inch fish. And
On Easter on the bank.
No, it was on. Actually, I think this was a Peaked Hill.
Yeah.
So, basically the bank, same distance. So hook a fish. We're with a very nice Chinese couple. I believe it was a father, mother, and I think there was like a daughter on the boat or something. I don't remember. There was at least one kid. Anyways, father's fighting the tuna, and he's gassed like halfway through. And this is going to be like a total of like a 17-minute fight
On like a TLD 50.
Like it should be a 15
CMS
to 20
straight
minute
butt,
fight.
like 80 class rod.
150-pound fish. We're like 6 minutes in, and he's already like can't breathe. He's so exhausted. So the lady gets down on one knee and is gonna do the old hold the rod over her shoulder. So she's on one knee and she's got the rod over her shoulder, and he's in the harness like in front of her, and she's helping him pump.
She's like
this
railrodding on his shoulder.
And they're not listening to a lick of what we're telling her because they can barely speak English.
Yeah,
barely speak English. So I run in to grab, the fish is getting close. I run in to grab my gloves so I could lead her and gaff it. And like I turn my back and I'm almost in the wheelhouse, and I hear this like high pitched woman scream like she's getting stabbed. It's like, ah! I'm like, what the fuck? I turn around and her head is like smashed inside this 50 wide.
Oh my god!
Like up against it as tight as possible. Like her whole face is red. Her face is all smushed. Her lips are like almost inside the reel. So long story short, he reeled her hair into the reel.
It was reeling against
the drag. Like 25 pounds of pressure on the hair. Like and he had like 50% of her hair wrapped up in the reel. So the captain I was with at the time, his first instinct was to grab a knife and cut her fucking hair off.
Not the fish.
Swear to God. He's like, I don't, and I kind of agreed. I'm like, there's no way we're getting this untangled. Like it's gonna be, under on one wrap, not under another wrap. Like we're gonna go to loosen it, and it's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be even worse. Like, and then if the fish runs,
yeah. So
it was a split-second decision of like, all right, do we cut it? Do we cut the line? Do we cut her hair, or do we loosen the drag?
Hair.
So I, So I backed the drag off, and dude, it was like, when you have a rat's nest and you're kind of like stand back and you're like waiting for something to catch. That's what happened with her hair, and it came undone, and she was fine. She lost like maybe a quarter inch of hair out of her scalp. It was fucking absurd.
And before that, you lost a rod.
Yes,
same trip.
Same trip. A rod shot out of the holder. It was hanging, dangling from the clip.
Wow.
And I got the line almost all the way down, like to the point I was like a foot away from grabbing the butt, and he popped off the clip, and we lost the whole rod and everything. In the same day.
I think a few years ago.
Another one right after.
That was on your guys' boat with your dad?
No, this is on a guy I used to fish with.
Gotcha.
That I used to mate.
I don't know the full story. It happened on Miss Wilder, but they got covered up in big eyes. And like, I think it was either Miss Wilder or Rainmaker. I honestly forget. I think it was Miss Wilder. But they got covered up, and like the center rigger rod went up and out and popped out of the clip.
Yeah.
But because they were covered, it got wrapped up in another one. And they got it back.
No way.
Yeah, I remember. I think one of the Wilder guys was telling me that story, but they got it back. That's
pretty
cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
Similar story, but not as cool of an ending is the same boat. We had issues on this boat, to put it lightly. Same boat, fish. I teased the fish out of the holder. It came up at like boiled. I teased the fish. I watched him eat, and I like heard the rigger starting to bend, and I already started walking back to clear the other rod, like knowing that we were just going to go off and we were on.
Yeah.
And I walked to the back of the transom, and I remember the clip popping, and then I woke up on the deck.
Oh,
and I'm like,
you knocked out?
Dude, the rod shot out of the holder, popped out of the clip, and the reel hit me square in the back of the head.
Oh my
God.
God.
On the deck.
Oh my God.
Did you lose the rod?
No, we got the rod. It landed, and like someone was there, ended up getting it, and we got the fish.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. I was out for like, I guess like a quarter of a second. It's one of those things that like you fall down and you immediately get up.
Yeah.
But like you think you're out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It smoked me.
We lost a brand new 130 on Stellwagen with Christmases.
Did you really?
Yeah. So Chris and I went, it was the day after Thanksgiving, and it was like crazy southeast, southwest corner, the whales, the life is, you know, it was on.
Magic.
It was closed. So it was one of the first few years where the quota started actually closing. And this kid, I forget his last name. His first name was Nick. Anyway, he had like a cobia. It was like a 28 cobia, and he put swivel rod holders in it. And they were.
It's always like a new boat, you know.
I know. It's like for a kid. So he's like, oh, I want to like tuna fish. I want to do all this shit. And he was buddies with Chris. And Chris was like, okay, like first things first, you need swivel rod holders. So we had them installed, and they were installed correctly. But the boat, not to, say anything bad about the boat, but the boat had gunnel inserts. Rather than the whole cap.
Yeah.
Is one piece.
Yeah.
It had gunnel inserts that were kind of like, epoxied on or whatever.
Right.
So the rod holder was installed correctly, but it was on an insert.
Yeah.
So we get out there immediately. We're right in the life. We're marking fish. I'm up on the bow, letting out the far floater, and Chris is in the back of the boat, like the stern, and we're drifting. So we're like side two, and the balloons are going outside too. I'm feeding the line out of the bow, and Chris goes, oh my God, look at the screen. I run back, look at the screen. There's like 8 fish on the screen. They're like, 40 feet below the boat. His mackerel's 30 feet below the boat. A couple more, feeds of the line. He gets swallowed. He's like, we're on. He cranks it up, circle hook. He takes it, he cranks it up. Rod bends over, 40, 50 pounds, whatever. There was maybe like two seconds of like, zzz, and then it sounded like a fucking tree falling or like a 2x4 snapping, and it just fucking, and then so like the rod, it didn't fall. The best part was the rod didn't fall into the water.
It like shot.
The second that the gunnel was raised and like
the holder was perfect.
The second that the holder was at an angle where the rod could go out.
Right.
Dude, this thing got 30 feet in the air. Like 30 feet
I bet the
out,
slingshot from just the motto.
and then skipped across the surface like a rock like 3 times, and then just zoom, went down. It was all of our jaws just dropped.
Oh my God.
And Chris brought his rods. They were Chris's like brand new rods, brand new setups, everything.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
You can't make that shit up.
No,
That's funny.
It was good.
That is funny / horrifying.
Yeah.
All right, what's another rapid fire? We're going down these rabbit holes quick.
What's the weirdest thing you found in a fish's stomach?
Slick.
Swordfish
weird.
have to have some weird.
Yeah, those
shit.
lancet fish you see with the little or anglerfish or lancet fish, the ones with like the
Angler-
little thing that dangles down
anglerfish.
like in Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
One of those is about the size of a quarter.
Really?
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And then
That's
a
cool.
couple fish that we weren't able to identify. So
Really?
that's always cool.
Just
They're always
from, like,
black and
Could you see the whole fish or identify it because it was all digested? Like, you could
no,
see the
just-
whole fish,
just-
but you just didn't know.
just
what the
had
hell
no idea what it was.
Yeah.
Like one time in the Bahamas, we were deep dropping, catching yellow eye snappers and stuff, and this was with Archie. And we caught this thing. We had no idea what it was. We posted pictures online, Facebook, Instagram. Anybody seen this fish? Whatever. And we waited, ended up cutting it up and smoking it because it had some worms in it. So we cut out the worms, but turned out to be an Atlantic scombrop, which I don't know.
Scombrop?
Atlantic scombrop, yeah.
Gotta Google this.
Google
It's
that.
got like, we caught it in like 800 feet. It's got like these big green eyes, crazy teeth. I mean, it looks almost like an oil fish kind of.
Scombrop is
Yeah,
a
scombrop. And it was like, I think the world record was like, at the time, like 22 or something pounds. And like, this thing was like 29 pounds.
that's
I mean,
weird.
we caught it on electric reel, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't have counted or anything. But
It's like a mix between like a pollock and a redfish, kind of.
I mean, that wasn't in a fish's stomach. But
It almost looks like a barrel fish
Bycatch.
type of snappery weird thing.
What, it came up on the hook?
Yeah, we were deep dropping like snapper fishing and stuff.
That's
chicken,
cool.
Chicken rigs in the Bahamas.
That is
But
a weird looking fish. It's almost like a grouper, snapper, like oil fish combination.
It looks like it'd be delicious.
It's pretty wild.
Oh yeah, look at that thing. It's like
and then
a
one
barrel.
thing, we caught a big eye that had probably like a 20-inch herring in its belly in the canyon. That's got to be one of the weirder things. We're
That's
like, how the fuck?
A
this thing-
20-inch herring. Was it a shad or was it a herring?
I mean, it looked like a herring. It was pretty. It was still like it wasn't fully digested.
Really?
Scales and everything. Yeah, Archie
That's
caught it.
nuts.
Big Nova Scotia herring.
Like, who knows? I mean, this was in the Eastern Canyons. I think that was out in Gilbert.
You think the
That
herrings
would make sense,
You
dude.
think the herrings swim
Would
deep?
make sense.
The thing was.
You think they go deep?
That big.
I would think that like
Because the
would
big
say
guys
so.
are deep, you know?
Yeah, but they're also
Especially up
feeding on
there.
the surface
Yeah.
too sometimes.
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
You think those herrings go like east of the bank and go down to the bottom, 300, 400, 500 feet?
Oh, they definitely go east of the bank, but I don't know
Yeah.
if
how
if
deep they go.
You know, I know they go obviously the Georges.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
a little
Whether or not
further
they go
south.
to the edge.
I wonder how they migrate there, like mid column.
I don't know.
You know?
You got to ask a herring.
Yeah, we gotta ask a herring.
That's funny.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever found anything unique that unique in a fish's belly, but I always like seeing what they're feeding on. You know,
Yeah.
opening up the belly. In the canyons, it's cool. Like a yellowfin, there's just a bunch of like unidentifiable, like,
Micro baits,
small
too.
micro baits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
yeah, weird stuff.
The belly contents for us fishing in the bay is a huge piece of information for us.
Yeah,
You know, you can
Yeah.
like talk to the fleet, see what's going on in the bay, the bank, Peaked Hill, kind of have an idea of the bait source in each one of those locations. And you're lucky enough to grease one and open it up. You can kind of paint the picture throughout the day.
Where it went.
what he was
how,
doing.
how
Pogies
digested
or-
stuff was and when it came through different areas.
Yeah.
It's actually a really important piece of
I mean,
info.
yeah.
I feel
So-
like people overlook it a lot.
So many of the late fish we caught had like a few, like on the bank had a few pogies in it. So you just know that they were coming from in the bay or
Yeah.
somewhere inshore,
Still clear-eyed.
heading to the bank, finishing eating or whatever, and you just happen to hook them.
At George's, we had a few stuffed with haddock, which I'd never seen
Yeah.
before.
We
Like
got
inshore,
one in a haddock once.
inshore, I never had seen him with haddock. You know, mostly herring, mackerel, pogie, the occasional like cod, groundfish.
Yeah.
But there were like 2 out of the 4 fish had like 4 or 5 haddock in their belly each, which I thought was interesting.
I know a couple old timers that like fishing haddock.
Yeah, they're good bait. I mean, it's
They are
a
good
giant
Mad
whiting,
they
basically.
mention their name, but
They're
definitely
pretty
do,
on
yeah.
the hook too.
Oh yeah,
And they do their job. They swim straight down.
and
They
they're
want to go back to
bright
the
white.
bottom.
I mean, they stick out.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
Just like a cod.
I love haddock.
yeah.
superstitions.
Yeah. Superstitions.
I got lucky shirts.
Yeah, I definitely have a lucky shirt.
I got lucky shirts that I
You
I
three
don't-
have lucky. You guys are all about the lucky.
I don't.
Doesn't
I
have
don't
to be
pull
on
the
my
shirt
back.
out.
As long as it's on the boat, in my bag, whatever.
So you'll bring shirts that you don't even intend on wearing.
I wait until we
Just
really
one.
need a bite. I try
Just
not
one
to. I
shirt.
try not to abuse the luck. You can't wear it the whole trip. You got to pull it out when you need it,
I see that.
and they got to be given to you. You
But I've
can't,
also
you can't buy
had-
a lucky shirt.
This is
Slammer
true. It has
trips.
to be given.
Yeah, you can't buy your own luck.
So you've had slamming
Slammer
trips with the shirt.
without it, but then every time it's with me, it's always
What's
a
your-
really
wait,
good
it
trip.
sounds
Like, there's never,
very-
Well, this
there's
is-
never
let's-
been a bad trip with
You
the
also
shirt. I should
Slick
say.
has never had
Very
a bad
lucky
trip.
person.
Yeah, exactly. What is this lucky shirt? It sounds like it's pretty fucking specific.
It's a deep shirt, I have to say. Shout
Oh,
out
hell
Bass
yeah.
Molly, yeah.
Molly.
It's one of the old school. It's that deep one that has the swordfish in the back.
Yeah.
Eating the
Yeah.
lights, and it's my lucky swordfish shirt, actually. But
Interesting.
My luckiest shirt, blue deep shirt that Smalley gave me.
So if we take these shirts, you guys are pretty much screwed for all tournaments.
I'll quit fishing.
Do we need to just go around like pillaging shirts?
I'm a little bit more intricate. Well, I guess sophisticated than that. I have like a hierarchy. Like,
Yeah.
Of
if I,
superstition.
like someone gives me a shirt,
Yeah.
I'll wear that shirt right off the rip. If I have a decent trip, it's like, all right, I'll wear that again. You know?
Yeah.
If I have a shitty trip, it goes to the fucking bottom of
Gone.
the drawer.
Done.
And that gets given
Gets
away
one
to
shot.
somebody. It's one shot to prove itself. And then it starts to creep. So I have this one, actually I have 3 of the same shirt. RJ Boyle, gray, like
Yeah.
30
I know that
SPF
shirt.
It's actually 3 different ones that I rotate because I'm so obsessed with it. Like that one's at
and
the
they're all
top.
lucky.
They're all fucking the same lucky.
Wow.
You know?
Now that you said this, go on our Instagram, the Mass Bay Guy's Instagram, and just scroll through like every shot of Brian in it. He's wearing an RJ Boyle shirt. Almost
gray
every
RJ
one.
shirt on.
Dude, it's true. It's lucky.
Yeah, I think
years.
I've noticed that actually.
Yeah.
Point that out.
It's actually on right there.
Even I told
Can't see
Smalley.
it, but-
Yeah, it is right there. I told
Probably
Smalley.
under that too.
Probably.
I told him that it was lucky. I was like, oh, I need another one. I can't buy it. And you know, you gotta fucking send me one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if I put something up, he'll like message me and be like, oh, the shirt.
It's awesome. Let's start here. This is a good one because you've mentioned Archie, and I think I know a couple of Mike's mentors. But who are your mentors for offshore fishing?
Canyon fishing or bluefinning or
Whatever you want.
mentors, I'd say I talked to Mark Takebe a lot, and then Damon, obviously, haven't fished with him so often. A couple commercial guys like Mikey on the Sinful, I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
A couple other commercial guys like Kyle when he's out there in the battle wagon, and mostly for intel, you know, because especially when we're going all the time.
Yeah.
Probably bouncing ideas, you know, like what are they eating?
Yeah, and especially during tournament time, like a week before, that's what kind of when I'm on the phone.
Yeah, talking a little
or out there if I can be. But definitely, and Joe Ferrulli for sure. Spent a lot of time fishing with him.
Yeah.
Even just doing deliveries and tournaments and charters and whatnot.
Yeah. He just has so much knowledge for just boat stuff in general.
Yeah,
like you can call him for anything, you know.
Yeah.
You'll
Well,
just
and any type of
brainstorm
fishing
anything.
too. That like from sail fishing, kite fishing down in Florida.
Been everywhere.
That's where I learned how to kite fish was from Joe. Really.
Yeah.
Kind of took me under and
That's cool.
brought me to a few tournaments, and he had his buddy Travis, who was like a local Florida guy, older mate, kind of showed me the ropes. But
That's awesome.
Joe's been a big part of that.
That's a good handful of awesome guys to learn from and communicate with for
And
sure.
of course Archie. I mean that goes without saying. I mean,
We
I still
actually
talk
are
to him
doing
like once a week.
doing a podcast with Archie
a couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's coming up here.
I think we're just
He's
gonna
doing
do
a remote one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. We're excited. He seems amped up.
He's
like,
got a lot
seems
of
bored
stories,
as
dude.
hell.
He is one of like the most humble, experienced fishermen I've probably the most honestly that I've ever met.
He'll just kind of talk to you with like a smirk on his face, and you know there's more to the story.
Yeah.
He's holding back. Or
I've only fished with Slick a few times, but every time he'll like do something that just is smart. You know what I mean? It makes sense, like whatever he's doing with a bait or a line or whatever it is. And then be like, oh yeah, like Archie. You know what I mean? Like this is how Archie does it. Or like Archie said this. Like, you know, like you can tell that there's a wealth of knowledge that just rubbed off on Slick from Archie.
I mean, Archie's been at it for what, 60 years?
I mean, he just turned 80.
More than 60 years.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's amazing. The shit that he's seen. It's just like you dream about that shit.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
I'd say Johnny Walker for sure.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny.
You guys fish a ton together.
Yeah, we fished a lot together. And Johnny got me into it. I've known him since I was a really young, probably 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And my family boat back in the day, Johnny would come. We would do the islands, you know, the Cape and Islands in the summertime. And then we'd go out to the bank and go like ground fishing, catch sharks and shit. We never caught tunas back in the day. And then I moved to Florida for a few years, lived down in the Keys in Key West. Did a bunch of diving, some fishing, but mostly spear fishing and diving. And then came back up, and Johnny Walker is a lacrosse referee, and he was reffing a lacrosse game, and we kind of like reconnected there. And then it was just like, hey, you know, you want to come fishing? You know, I'm running a tuna boat, which was the provider, and me and CJ ended up fishing with him for a year or two, something like that, and I kept fishing with him, and you know, he taught me everything, you know. And then once you learn it, once you get it and understand how to, you know, do it all, then you fish with a whole bunch of other people and you put all the pieces together.
Yeah.
You know, I love doing that. I love going and fishing with Miles. You know, Miles is another one for sure, but you know, going to the canyons, me and you went on Salty Seas.
Yeah, Matt's boat.
Every single trip you do, you learn something.
Totally.
You know, you really do. On a different boat, you know, you learn how that spread works, and everything is a learning experience. And you pick up a lot of things from a lot of different people. But overall, Johnny definitely got me into it and taught me everything.
He's a great guy. He's like one of those Renaissance man type people. He's like lacrosse ref, canyon fishing.
He just does some shit,
Yeah.
crazy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
He is a blast to have a drink with.
He really is. We got to get him
Had some
on, man.
fun. Had some fun nights with him.
Yeah.
And usually he just disappears.
Oh yeah,
The Irish goodbye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a classic.
Yeah. But we did a lot of fishing. You know, we did a lot of fishing. We caught a lot of fish. We killed a lot of fish. We did canyon charters. Provider was a private boat that was also like a charter boat, and then we also had the green light to go commercial fishing with it.
Yeah.
So that was a really good program to learn on, because in the summertime we were in the Cape, the Cape / Nantucket, and we'd pick the owner up, go fishing out of Nantucket. We would do fluke fishing, inshore stuff, and then we go to the canyons. And then, like I said, we had the green light to go to the canyons and try to stuff the boat with yellowfin and shit. And then in the fall, we'd bring the boat up to Gloucester and fish out of Gloucester or Newburyport. And I went to college up there at Salem, so it worked, perfect. The schedule and that boat and fishing with Johnny, everything aligned perfectly. And we did a lot of trips, just the two of us, so it was really good. You learn a lot like that,
Any opportunity, program, charter boat, private boat, whatever, that allows you to get those reps in like that is
for sure
the most important thing to developing early.
For sure. The time doing it.
Yeah.
You can watch all the YouTube videos and
you can wax
talk
all
about
day,
it,
do all that shit. But like if you get on a program that's fishing all the time, it's super important for
100%.
obvious reasons.
100%.
I remember meeting you down. That's actually where I met you.
Where?
It was on Nantucket.
Yeah.
Remember when I met you?
On the back of Provider.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Claire and I were going there, I think, for like a trip or something, and that's where I met you in person for the first time.
Meet a bunch of guys in Speedos.
Yeah, including you.
Yeah. No, I didn't have one on. I had nothing on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shit.
I don't even remember when we met.
I don't know.
Probably a tournament.
Probably.
I know we met going to a tournament.
Yeah,
I think on
I was
ferry or
with
something.
Joe.
Yeah.
On the Queen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
What tournament?
OBC. OBC, yeah.
That's my favorite week of the year.
Oh, it's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fake.
It really is.
It's like 7 days of just fake life.
Totally.
The Slick's land tuna. Slick's greatest catch. And then she swam away.
Holy shit. That's great.
Catch some, you lose some.
That's right. All right. Just going to kind of bounce around here a little bit. I'm just trying to dovetail them the best that I can. What's the craziest, and I bring this up because you and I had a sick green stick bite on Matt's boat.
Oh.
What's the craziest, not overall bite, like not overall trip, but the craziest hookup bite you've ever experienced? Oof. On a real tuna, not a land tuna, Slick. Or billfish, whatever. Like you're
Canyon,
watching
billfish,
anything.
whatever.
Doesn't matter.
anything. It could be
Or
a
it
striped
could be
bass.
multiple bites.
Doesn't matter.
Like multiple days. Could
just top of your mind.
What comes to mind?
Can we do
Well,
Something
so this
came to
is
your
we do
mind.
top
So this
three?
is the one that got away. So
Okay,
it's not
perfect.
necessarily one
That's
that I caught.
perfect.
And this
Perfect.
was we were down fishing that moorhead bite, that blue marlin bite in May.
Yeah.
Kind of goes off every year from Moorhead to Charleston. Like guys are getting 3 to 6 bites a day. Not much bycatch, mostly mahis, small mahis, but I mean they're all it's all lure fishing too.
Yeah.
Dredges, teasers, lures. And I was fishing with Al on the Brennan's Grin, and we were just fishing for the day. I mean, it was on the way up doing the delivery, bringing the boat to the vineyard, and hooked one and fought him for about an hour and pulled the hook. I mean, the fish was straight up and down. I mean, just shit luck and on a moise lure. All bites are on the moise lures. Pulled that hook and then got back to the troll, and I don't know, within an hour, like fucking monster. And we were fishing with the sonar, so Al's calling out every bite. Like, here he comes, right side. Sure enough, there he is, right side. Left side, there he is.
That
I mean,
shit's insane.
It's cool fishing with that thing. And sure enough, he's like, right side, get ready. And I see this dorsal fin come up behind the right long, and I'm like, no fucking way. Like, sure enough, pops the clip, and I just picked up the rod out of the rocket and started feeding it to him. Sure enough, picked it up and just started screaming. I mean, this thing's dorsal fin was like 3 feet out of the water, and his tail was like another foot above his dorsal behind him. Like, sea moss. I thought it was a big porpoise, like at first, just like rolling behind the bait, but then it just sat there. And it popped the clip, and I dropped it back and fed him, and we were fishing with 50s. Talica 50s.
I immediately regretted that decision.
Milk was a bad choice.
So I mean, sure enough, I'm sure you can guess what would happen, but
Yeah.
ended up Sean, the owner's putting on his belt, and I had fed the fish and had him hooked and had the drags and everything. He's jumping off into the horizon, and Al slows the boat down, and before I pass the rod off to the owner, I go to hit the dredge, and before the dredge even gets to the back of the boat, I walk to the other side, clear that dredge. Before that first dredge even gets to the back of the boat, I'll hear snap, like gone, spooled. But I mean, that was like,
God.
and I was like, yeah, it's like the fish was easy, 900 plus pounds. And then we jumped off like a 300 after that. And that was between like 8 and 2 p.m., 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. So, wow. But that was one that'll just, it's engraved in my mind, just the size of this fin. And it was the long bait, you know what I mean? It was solid 100 yards behind the
hell
boat.
Back there, it's massive.
It was so I mean, you could see the shoulder. I mean, the whole dorsal fin and like a foot of the shoulders, at least half a foot of the shoulders were out of the water. And but
I think I have your
that's one that'll just.
I think I have your inReach text description of that.
And like,
Please I'm like sitting at my desk. My heart's like beating through my chest reading this shit.
Because we knew it was. I mean, it had been going off for at least a week. Like there's at least a dozen boats that were going out every day and catching 2 to 5.
Wow.
I mean, it was.
But even still, like a 900 pounder anywhere in the world is massive.
When was that, Slick?
That was in May.
I'm trying to imagine what that Talica clicker sounded like if it got
probably like
the
one
thing was
steady noise.
honestly, and it was probably like once I knew he was hooked and put the drag up, like it was maybe 10 seconds before all the line was gone.
Blue marlin send that drag noise into like another.
Yeah, we talked about
It's a different language.
It
twice
really
as
is.
fast as a bluefin.
Yeah.
No, it really
doesn't matter what reel it
It
is.
like
either.
vaporized
matter.
it, like
Blue marlins,
all the line was gone.
I don't know
Yeah.
the scientific speed, but they are faster than bluefins.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much.
Yeah, we've had 2 on the Denison's boats in the last 3 years that took us down to gold. Yeah, full back down, like dredges are still in the water. Disaster management.
We got it.
There was just nothing we could have
panic
done with
moment.
a 50.
Yeah.
We might have had a chance had it been an 80 or 130.
Here's a 130 at like 40 pounds. Like a bluefin doesn't make a
No,
reel
it
sound
doesn't.
like that.
It always sounds like something broke off in the
Inside
reel,
the
is
reel.
rattling around inside the reel.
and the rod tip's going that way, and your fish is jumping out
Right.
90 degrees the opposite way that way.
Right.
They are
Wild.
crazy animals.
I was gonna say like bring that up. Like we got to talk about blue marlins.
Yeah. Oh,
You
we
know,
have some
like,
blue marlin.
Like
questions.
that is quite the fish. I mean, it's one of the most sought after game fish in the world, and we catch them right here. Like
Yeah.
that's
And big
A lot
ones.
of big ones.
Big
yeah.
ones. Mostly
it's-
big ones.
that would be my epic bite was a blue. It's mixed between 2. I'd say Johnny and I think we had 4 blue marlins on the green stick.
Like once?
No. Oh my god. Yeah. No, it's over 2 seasons. Or
yeah.
That causes a
And-
mess too.
And so
I've never seen it, but I'm sure.
So this is the one, the biggest mess that I ever saw fishing in general, from sunfish in the lake to the biggest mess of all time, was a blue marlin on the green stick. So the fish box was open, and I was standing in the fish box.
this is on Provider.
This is on Provider,
Yeah.
and it was just Johnny and I. Nope, it was me, Johnny, Donnie, and Felix, the owner. And I'm standing in the fish box, and like moving some yellowfin around or something, and I hear the stick go off. I mean, that's a sound in its own. It's
a clear indicator.
You're talking about
There he
yeah,
is.
like blue marlin, drag screaming sound, green stick going off. Like
Yeah.
there's not many thrills like
Rubber band snapping.
rubber band.
Yeah.
There's some noises that get the
yeah.
blood flowing.
Yeah.
The stick going off, and so stick goes, and I'm like, okay. I'm in my head. I'm like, all right, I gotta get out of the box and deal with this shit. And then I like step out of the box. I look back. There's a hole in the water the size of this room, bigger, on like the first drop.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I thought it was a bluefin. We all thought it was a bluefin. No one really saw it happening. And then, like, probably 15 seconds of the bandit reel screaming. Like, never heard the bandit make that noise ever.
So we got to clip another dob on.
Yeah. And then the blue comes out of the water.
Yeah.
So there's a blue marlin on the first drop, the longest one, and he's swimming away from the boat, and he's wrapped up in all the other droppers. So he's got like 5 droppers wrapped around him, and he's just somersaulting, flying through the air, somersaulting, peel and drag. Like it was just a complete clusterfuck. And I mean, I just never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? Imagine looking back and just seeing a blue marlin full speed with 1,000-pound tests wrapped all around him.
Oh my
And
god.
dude, it was
We had something
it was
similar.
insane.
On the
He came,
Hazel
so then
Brown.
he came up. We I don't know. He went down deep. He was like a couple hundred feet down. We raised him up, and he comes up and he's just got line all over him. We're trying to get away from the boat. He's swimming left, right, up, down, everywhere. And we get line in the wheel. So we got 1,000-pound tests in the wheel.
Oh my god!
And like the boat goes in gear, and dude, this thing was sandwiched up against the propeller.
Much like the Asian that was sandwiched in the reel earlier.
Yeah. Fuck. And it was just completely wrapped in and it's 1,000-pound test, so you can't cut it with a knife.
Right. It's like fucking it's plastic.
The night before, the first time I ever caught a tiger shark was right there. It was on.
So now you're thinking tiger.
So we're on the corner of the canyon. We caught like yellowfin. We caught a tiger shark, and then in the morning we get a blue marlin bite, same spot, and now there's a marlin fucking stuck to the propeller. And
you gotta
Johnny's like looking at me. I'm like, oh fuck, all right. Grab that dive shit, jump over, and I have a knife, and the knife's just not doing anything to the 1,000-pound test. So you go get like, wire snippers and shit.
Yeah.
And just one breath going down, like clip, and there's probably like 1,000 strands of mono to clip. Wasn't that bad.
So you weren't bonking your head
it would have been worse if it was rough.
Yeah.
And just like this thing's like bleeding out, like looking at me. I'm on the other side of the keel, like looking at this thing, like just cutting it out. Just disaster. We get it up, we bring it in.
Yeah.
And we're like,
end up killing it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it was dead.
Yeah.
It was dead the second it ate that bait.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were gonna dump
taste
it.
delicious, don't they?
Yeah. So we were gonna dump it. We
Yeah.
were like, oh, come on. Like we got, the yellowfin fishing's good.
It sucks up your fish hole.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, we got plenty of
all your
ice.
ice.
The bite's good. And then we were like, nah, fuck it. Let's, kind of respect the fish and bring it home. And we cut it up. We gave a bunch away and all that.
I heard it's good. Smoked.
I actually didn't have any.
Really?
I don't know, man. I was like freaked out from the
timid.
whole thing. I was like, fuck.
Get me away from that thing.
I don't even want to look at that fish anymore. Let alone eat it. My appetite was gone.
I'm sure. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to get in the water before?
Oh yeah, several times. Yeah.
For what?
Cutting shit out of the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, once was this past season in Battle Wagon. I mean, we ran over. It must have been a 20 by 20 piece of trawl, like just old,
my God.
thick net. And it took, three of us. It took us 2 hours, like taking turns. One guy going in. It got to the point where like we had two guys in the water, one guy going under, taking turns back and forth. It was a solid 2 hours. This shit was at least a half inch, 3/4 inch thick, and wrapped around so many times. Then a couple times with Archie, but it's been probably 4 times all in the canyons.
Yeah.
It's like all you
There's
can
so much
see
shit in the
is
canyons.
blue.
Like, even though you're so far out, there's so many things. You can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but you can see, but like,
Yes.
No, but dude, so that was what I was thinking. Like as I'm cutting this out, you're like looking down into like
Dark
this
blue
this
abyss.
you don't
and,
know.
like,
You got the sun rays.
and
It's like,
have you guys seen like Mako's like
Wild.
breach out there? You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, oh, Mako.
You don't
could
know
hit
if you
me
can
at
see
60
100
knots
feet.
Right now.
Yeah.
Or better that, like the blue marlin could bill you under the boat.
Yeah.
Was it still kicking and shit while you were down there?
It was like like it was tied to the propeller and still like kicking and moving. And then the fish is on one side of the keel and I'm on the other side, like eyeball to eyeball with this thing. Like
staring between the
staring
rudder and the
at me.
prop.
Yeah,
His eyeballs as big as
checking
your
them out.
head.
Exactly,
That's wild, dude.
That is wild.
Those are great stories.
Yeah.
What's your favorite bite?
Oh, one that sticks out recently. I've had some pretty crazy bites, but I think
Love the bite videos from you guys.
the craziest one, which was not on film, was at Peaked Hill 2 years ago, trolling. It was like the first and only time we trolled Peaked Hill that year, very end of July, and we had an 800-pounder eat the squid bar on the short rigger, and we missed the hook. And it came out of the water like a stick. I haven't seen a giant bluefin eat a stick, but I've seen plenty of other fish eat sticks, like out of the water, the whole fish. This one came up through the middle of the bar and tried to eat like 3 or 4 squid at once. And we were fishing all big squids and had the entire spreader bar out of the water with its face.
Wow.
And landed, and the squid bar just disappeared and the rigger clip never popped. It was just like, and me and one of the charter guys saw it. No one else saw it. And it looked fake. Like other than the boil and the splash, the bar just came back up. All the teasers were all fucked up. It was trolling like sideways. The clip never popped, nothing. Hook was fine.
Wow.
Just missed the hook bait.
Oh, it was sad face bite. Was it
exactly like that bite
on the
first
far
stand-up
floater?
fish?
Yeah.
What's a sad face
Canada?
bite?
So you guys know how
Sad face tuna.
when tunas bite something on the
straight at you, and it's like
straight at you.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're sad.
yeah.
They're dark.
Their hinge, like it turns down. Their eyes are like that.
They're
It's
pissed.
a sad face.
Sad
They
face
didn't-
tuna.
He didn't roll. He came.
No,
down.
it was like a boom,
Yeah.
and then
just a
Black
missile.
sad face.
right down in. And it, it was 110 easily inch fish.
Oh.
It made like the bar is 3 feet wide. The bar was as wide as his back.
Yeah.
When he came up, that's all I can think of was his black back coming up, whole fish out of the water and went down. Me and the charter were like, holy shit. And then I'm like, we're on. Not.
No, we're not.
We're not on.
Sad.
Yeah, we had a
Sucked.
pretty crazy aerial bite like that with Damon. This was, I think it was like end of July, I want to say, or beginning of August, and it was on a charter, and we were fishing at Wood End. It was a kite bite, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I had just put the kite out, and I'm putting out the second bait, and I just hear the client start screaming. And it's me and Nick Candy on the boat, both maiden.
Oh, God.
Turbo.
Things happen.
Yeah. And
He's like, you guys have a similar vibe, by the way. Just so you know, like I've fished with him a lot. It seems that you both have the same luck factor.
yeah, no,
Or
we
skill
definitely
factor,
get
I should
along
say.
and work well together back there. But so like the client just starts screaming, and like I look over at the kite bait, and it's like 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, and then like the 4th one got him.
So it's separate, like 4 different fish.
Just one after the
Oh
other,
my
and it
God.
was probably like like a 4-pound bluefish, like just a perfect kite bait, and they're all screaming like, "Oh my God!" Like they'd never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like the 4th one got it, and like Nick just takes like 3 cranks. I'm feeding out the other bait. Nick takes like 3 cranks, just comes tight on it, and this pregnant girl fought it for like 4 hours in the chair, got the swivel through the tip, and we're like, all right, that's an IGFA catch. Like, do you want to try and kill the thing? So Nick got on the rod, and I harpooned the thing and killed it. Ended up being like 109 inches, like 6 something dress. But like it was just like, like kite bite, like the thing, same thing, like whole fish out of the water.
Yeah.
The first couple of fish were like shoulders and tail.
Right. And then you
like,
get the one that just
this one was
committed.
just like head to tail,
Savage.
like head over tail.
Wow.
It was cool.
That's awesome. Kite bite giants are awesome. Mine's similar. Mine was a pogie. It was only like a 95 incher, but it was the first fish I'd ever seen like
A big fish. Yep.
completely air on a kite bait. That one stuck in my head. Left to right in the notch of the southwest corner. I'll never forget that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain ones that like and it's usually the fish you don't even get a lot of times.
Yeah.
That you like see the bite and it's just like stuck in your brain.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about one the other
Eat it out
night.
of your hand.
Oh yeah.
Those are fucking
A
awesome.
big eye on a green stick dropper, like coming down sea. So the baits were kind of just like lagging and like popping over the waves, like not really splashing,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
We were going like down sea, and I saw a big eye, like you guys said, sad face bite. Completely, it was like a 200 something, and completely aired out and just missed it. Just missed it. Never came back.
Oh,
That bluefin bite we had on the stick was pretty exciting.
we had multiple up. I think we had
it was
two
it
on.
was two giant holes in the water.
Yeah.
and one stuck.
Yep. I thought it was a big eye when you were wiring him.
I know.
He was so fucking gold, dude. We're like, that's like a 90 inch big.
World record big
I thought it was world record big.
They just look so
There's some
much
big
different
eyes out there.
Yeah.
They really do. We can't go there without hooking one of those fucking things, dude. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
You guys
It could be
magnets
September.
of
It
those
could be
things.
August.
Dude.
Canyons, you guys are catching.
I don't know
giant.
what it is.
Get in the
but-
spread a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, no. I want to hear a mutual story now that we're on the story trend here. Tell us about that 900 pounder on the taxi last fall.
Well, there was a heartbreak that came before that.
Taxi
Let me tell you about the taxi.
Give us a little back.
Well, I don't-
Give us some back. Not all of them. Not all of them. But most
The tuna taxi has magic. I didn't believe in magic until I started fishing on the tuna taxi. That thing is unbelievable.
dude.
There's no motor in that boat. There's a hamster wheel and a guy down below. There's a guy named Esteban in the engine room just running on a hamster
Just
wheel.
smokes butts and runs on the
Cleans
hamster
the engine
wheel.
room too.
That boat
runs on Bud Light.
doesn't need fuel. It's amazing. That boat's amazing. And Sully's fucking great. He really is. Love fishing with Sully.
But so that fish, we hooked a big one, like probably similar size. At least it seemed
It
like
was
it.
like the week that was all
So it was during
fish.
the Quincy tournament.
All like 8 to 9.
Okay.
So it was during the Quincy
Yeah,
tournament.
Weber caught like 8-10 that day.
Yeah.
I think it was the last day of the Quincy tournament, and Sully and his buddy Diozzi. It was those two, and then Sully got Slick and I all our schedules aligned, and we were like, all right, let's do it. So we went out Saturday morning, and we did a bait day. We left out of Quincy.
Friday afternoon.
Was it Friday and we fished Saturday? No, I think it was.
We left Friday, fished Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah.
Sully is notorious for those. Like we'll go out and specifically try, because with these openings, like we were specifically trying to leave early and get bait on that closed day, and then
Yeah.
be loaded up and have our
That's what it
pogies,
was.
bluefish, max,
We left
whatever, because he
Friday.
liked fishing the bay, and
Yeah.
we kind of and it was the tournament was going on too. So
We got So Friday we got bait, we got pogies. We got pogies in Boston Harbor. We went to Stellwagen, we got herring, and then we went to Race Point, we got bluefish.
Holy moly.
So we were loaded.
The plethora of
we
bait.
had bait. We had everything.
well, then everything died the next.
And then
morning.
everything died.
Oh my gosh, really?
And we only had one little 50-gallon tank, and all the bluefish were all gators. So
Yeah.
put them all in the tank, and
There was we had 6 bluefish with their tails hanging out of the tank, and everything else died. Everything. So then we were fishing. It was the tournament day, the next day, and we're looking at the chart, and we're like, all right, we're 3 miles away from the dock, or 3 hours. I mean, or what was it, 2? I don't know.
That makes sense. The bait.
I think we were 3 hours. I think
to Marina Bay.
yeah, the weigh-in closed at 8:00, and we were like, okay, that's
about right.
Whatever we catch needs to be dead and in this boat at 5. And then, what time did we hook that fish?
Probably like 4. Hooked like a big one at 4:00 and ended up breaking them off after probably an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. So
Big
it was
jumbo,
It was
remember?
it was 4:00, and
Like at the boat, or
we got
you never even saw
no.
it?
So we got the bite, and it was a huge fish, huge runs, big runs. Ate a bluefish. He ate a giant bluefish.
Yeah.
And immediately we were like, oh my god, big fish, and it was crunch time. You know what I mean? And we had just got Top Shot back. We were like, we had to make a decision to go heavy drag. Almost full. We were like, we either don't make it back,
Sucks.
or we try to catch this thing. We
Yeah.
try to catch it right
That's
now.
brutal.
And we were all like, fuck it, hammer down. All the way.
Yeah.
All the way. And dude, we were getting him. We were gaining him. We were kicking his ass. And no, he came up though. Remember when he came up by Opportunity was over there?
On the
And
surface,
we saw his sickle and his tail. He splashed a little bit and then went back down. But
Typical
just,
bait fish, so all over the surface, racing
Yeah,
around,
just
that
a
never
jumbo.
settled down.
he was big. 100 something. And pulled the hook.
Yeah.
Pulled the hook.
I even
Yep.
broke him off. Pulled the hook. Super Mo too.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep. And then
Pulled so many Super Mutus.
We're all sitting in the cabin. We only had max out at that point. We had no bluefish left. Maybe one bluefish on the floater, and then a couple max out.
And it's dark, right?
It's getting dark. Sully's like, all right, all our cars are in Boston. He's like, I don't feel like running back to Boston. We're just going to go to Sandwich, and we'll just all Uber back to Boston. So, now we're all thinking, great, we're in for, a long night, going back, fishless,
the whole thing
having
was
Uber to
turning into a
Boston.
clusterfuck.
And then all of a sudden, we're all sitting inside. It's getting dark. There's, only this GPS and the fish finder on inside.
Didn't you have a tinker mackerel on the down rod?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's maybe 10 inches long.
Yeah.
And Murph, we're all sitting there pretty much just fuck this. We're about to go home, tournament, we're marking fish, it's going on. Guys are fighting them. And Murph's like, down rod, down rod, down rod, down rod. Just starts screaming. And sure enough, that was him. And just starts fucking screaming, and clear lines, went off to battle. And
That was a corker.
that was it. It
That
was
was big.
Yeah, we got
Skinny,
him quick
but
too.
long. I mean, it was-
we got him quick too. He was up on the surface. He never pinwheeled. No. He never
You
pinwheeled.
just got a harpoon shot on him
he
kind of early.
came right at the back of the boat, on
Well,
the
it's
surface,
dark,
right in
so
the
they
lights.
fight weird anyways.
Yeah.
And he came right in the lights, and we're like, smoke, Murph. Smoked him right there.
Dude, it's so weird how they fight like that in the dark.
Weird.
They come look at the boat. I swear to God.
came right in the underwater
he
lights.
came and looked. He was pointed away from us. We're backing down on him, and his head's pointed away from us. So we're looking at his tail. He's probably 30 feet away, and then he turned and swam by the transom. You know what I mean? Swam right by the transom. Got the dart in him.
It's awesome.
And I'm still on the rod, and they got the tail gaff on. And I see the thing's tail come over the gunnel. I'm like, oh my God. Tail was as wide as this table, It's just
Yeah.
you couldn't really tell how with it being dark and all, you couldn't
Yeah.
really tell how big it really was. And
What was 120 inches, right?
No,
No,
115.
Yeah, 115.
That's still big.
That's a respectable
Monster.
tuna fish right there.
Longest one I ever got.
That's crazy.
15. What about you guys? How long was that? Like 1,000-pounder you guys got?
118.
118.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one with my dad.
What's the longest you ever heard of?
The longest that I've personally been on the boat for, and we didn't
Yeah.
kill it, was 128.
In PEI?
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was measured
Jason
in the
stock,
water.
measured in the water.
Yeah.
So, and that was 128 straight length. Believe it or not, that fish was fucking humongous.
That's
Ate a
humongous.
mackerel out of
Yeah, you
Jason's.
guys were saying like 12 to 1,300 pounds.
Yeah, that was a big one. Wow. And like 8-footers, and Jason's wife was throwing up the whole time. I felt so fucking bad.
With all the closures, we've definitely released 1, 2, 3, probably 4 or 5 fish that we know was 950 or bigger. We don't know how big. They were like, you brought them up and they just looked
Enormous.
way
don't
way
look
bigger than
natural,
anything
yeah.
else that we killed, and we killed them like up to 110 the last few years. And you just see the ones next that you release, and you're like, can't really measure them.
Yeah.
I had a kid from Texas last year. This kid Alex, like, legitimately Googled tuna charter, and Mass Bay Guides came up, and he flew to from Texas to fish for one day
Love that.
in August.
You got a
and
grand,
it was like,
basically grander.
yeah, it was
By himself.
You guys,
flew by himself.
4.5
Console,
hours.
you guys pay for that Google spot?
That was a big
was.
fish, though. If we get those fish back that we were, releasing and killed a few of them in the beginning of August last year, if
The ones
they
we
come
were
back on
marking
that herring, they're going to
They were
be
all humongous.
absolutely
I was showing him the
enormous.
pictures of those on the way over here.
Wait, if what? If they come
If
back
those
on the
fish
herring?
come back on that biomass of herring in August,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
going to be huge,
Scary.
huge tunas.
Do you think the marks that come up and your bait's at 75 and you got a streaker from the bottom to 75, you think he inspected it and changed his mind, or he missed it?
Change his mind.
Think so?
I think if they want to eat it, they'll fucking eat it.
Yeah.
They're hungry.
It also depends on what the down, if you're marking your down, and if you can see if that bait escaped or not. Yeah. Usually you can see it. But
I mean, I think mackerel and stuff might be a slightly different story. Like they might
Versus herring.
get close.
Versus herring. A herring they can get.
yeah.
100%. Yeah, herring that's dead. I think this is what a herring looks like when it gets eaten. Gone.
It gets folded and right down the gullet.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
down the gut before it even knows what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think they paddle up already. I think sometimes they paddle up already knowing that they're not going to eat it, but they're just checking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when you get that like bait rise, and then you mark them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he ran away, but I don't think he was even planning on eating. Like most of the bites that we mark, when we mark them, it's like
You're on,
It's
but-
literally a vertical, perfectly straight line, either up or down, or both if you happen to catch it.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
just
like
him swimming
no-
around. It's like he's coming to eat it.
No messing around.
You can tell by the shape of the mark if they're
Oh, yeah.
aggressive or not.
Yeah.
I think most of the reason why they shy off is because they see the line. I don't
Think
think
so?
it's anything else.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, like a dainty hook, no chafe gear,
Yeah.
fishing super light. Like, like your bait's going to swim better.
same thing.
And in turn, it's probably going to make your line look better. But I think it's the line,
I
honestly.
do too. Yep.
And I don't think it matters whether you're light or heavy. It's just the sun hitting the fishing line.
I would agree.
All right. $100, boys. You have $100 hairs.
We're going to each answer this.
You each have to answer this. And you have to go make a 5-rod canyon spread. You have your rods, your terminal gear, you have your ballyhoos, you got everything. You just need to put the skirt, the lure.
Yeah.
Things that can go on a ballyhoo,
You have
loopers.
$100, 5-rod canyon
Like
spread.
line and hooks?
No.
Nope, you have all that.
Just the lure aspect.
Lure, spreader bar, skirt,
5 rod.
bird.
To catch
5
everything
rod.
in the canyons.
Yes. For an everything spread, 5 rods. $100.
Okay.
You want to start?
Go
I'll
ahead,
start.
Slick. Go ahead. I know what I'm gonna say.
Take your time. If you need to develop
Can
a
I have
list.
to put a widespread in there? I mean, that's kind
Is this the lifetime thing? Like this is it? Is all you can have for the rest of your life? Or
No,
No,
that's
no,
another
no.
question.
No. That'll be another question.
probably either an all black. Start with an all black or a purple and black widespread.
Like a wide spreader bar.
No, it's
Oh,
the widespread.
wide range.
Wide range, you mean?
yeah,
Wide
ranger.
I'm
Wide
thinking
ranger.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
wide range
yeah.
mold craft.
Yeah,
That's like a $25 item, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'll call it 20 bucks. We'll
I
call
was
it
gonna say
20 bucks.
19. Yeah, it's called.
Yeah,
Okay.
call it 20 bucks.
We all know people.
Take
We get that
inflation
thing-
out of
What's
it.
the Joe shoot cost? You got
Call it. You could get it.
Canyon's
$20.
shoots are $20
Call it
bucks.
$20.
Jeez, market's really going up.
I think they're like 28 actually, or
Inflation.
26.
So we calling it 28.
We'll call it 20.
Call it
So
20.
we're at 40 now.
Yeah.
Wholesale.
5 rods.
So you got
That's
a
2
purple
rods.
and black wide range.
Where's that thing?
Any particular color shoot?
Probably either a redhead, like a redhead white skirt, or the redhead with the Carolina skirt. So it's like a redhead with like a Carolina, like a light blue skirt.
seen it.
It's
Have-
light. It's
yeah.
half light blue, half white.
They call it the American flag.
No, that's
Not
the
sure.
Patriot. It's like
know
a
the one.
redhead.
It's like a
blue,
light
white.
blue, like a Carolina blue.
Interesting.
Whatever we've done.
What weight?
Yeah, exactly. 8 ounce.
8 ounce.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
just,
Those are heavy
and I think
ones.
that's just old school. I think that's just kind of the way learned with Archie, and we always just fish 8 ounce everything and like big eye fishing. We were fishing heavy jet heads right behind the boat.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna pull definitely. It's a CNH jet head lure, chrome head. It's got to be 16 ounces. I mean, that thing is heavy as hell.
Are those like green zucchini skirt?
It's got like a mahi colored skirt,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
green
yeah.
zucchini, like a white or a green and yellow skirt with like a red line on either side.
Yep.
Does it have the flat sides?
No, it's
Jets in
it's
it?
like a jet head. So it's got like a pointy head, like a pointy nose,
Like
and
a
then,
bullet with jets.
yeah, exactly.
Got it.
And like kind of grooves in the side.
So what are those? What were those? 20 bucks?
I'd call that probably closer to 30.
30
I mean, that's
bucks?
a heavier.
So
So
that's
you're at 70 bucks.
with
3 rods. You're at $70. You have $30 left for 2 more rods.
Pulling it naked. You know what I mean? Pulling a naked
We're gonna
value.
give that a $20 item.
We'll gift you the naked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
Okay. Well, so that yeah.
The naked's
But it counts as my 5. One of my 5.
okay.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Right?
So 4 rods.
All right. I'm leaving the $30 to probably a Moy's Blaster or a J Boy. I guess you can call
That's quite
if,
the mixed spread.
If you can call his lures $30. I mean, that's unskirted. You can get a head for 30 and skirt it
Maybe.
yourself.
You bag, borrowed, and steal.
Yeah, I think he's at like really realistically
We'll give that to
250,
you.
but we're gonna call it 100.
He took the naked value, so we'll have to give him that.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
It's just a little bit of
I
everything.
mean, you can fish all
and
in
everything
valley
eats
and
that
catch everything.
wide range, and then
everything eats that blaster too, though.
Yeah.
Big eyes,
Big
blue
eyes,
marlin,
oh,
white
yeah.
marlin. I've literally had everything eat that thing.
and then another one I was thinking about was the Akula.
Yeah.
That thing's always. I mean, we've got big eyes and blue marlins on that. The Akula. I want to say the Sprocket.
Pakula, Sprocket, Lumo. The
Yeah, I
green.
love that
Yeah.
lure.
Damon runs that. It's like
Yeah.
green with like the dark green bars
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
red stripe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good lure. It's like a cup
Cup
face.
face. Yeah. Exactly.
9 or 11-inch lure, I think it is.
And the eyeballs like that
9-inch lure.
logo. It's like the
Yeah.
marlin logo. or
That's a
whatever.
great lure.
Yeah.
What do you
It's
got, Mike?
light too, so like when whites eat that thing,
Yeah, yeah.
they're not throwing the hook often. There's more in this cooler too.
What'd we do for what'd we do for the price on
There's like
Slick's
a more.
Jet
Like,
Head?
$30.
$30.
$30.
So
A jet head.
I'm gonna.
You can
I'm
say
gonna
that
take
that one's legit. I
I'm
like
gonna
that
take
lure.
that
You can
chrome
say it.
jet head. Brian's seen it.
yeah.
I bring it on Pescaria.
He has this ballyhoo chrome
Yeah.
jet head.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah.
I drew it.
Yeah.
In
tailored it.
AutoCAD.
Yeah.
And
So-
made it on a machine.
So that lure.
Yep.
With that ghosty gray skirt that you like?
Yeah.
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 I like that
Yeah.
skirt. It has a little yellow in it, I
Got a little
believe.
yellow.
Those
like
are ballyhoo
black
color.
Yeah.
It's it's got ballyhoo color. You
Yeah.
know how like like a ballyhoo tail is like the bottom's black and the tip is like yellow a little bit.
Yeah.
we
That's what
orange,
this skirt's kind of like.
That's a great
So basically a natural looking chrome jet head.
Natural
lure.
looking, a big bait.
Yep.
It's a long bait. It's
Yeah,
probably
it's 12-inch bait.
It's a 12-inch bait with a big select or even a horse. Great in the wash or the long rigger. And
That's a great lure. They can't move that thing out of the way when they come up on it, which is what I
so
like about it.
I've caught all species of tuna on it. All northeast species of tunas. Albacores, yellowfins, big eyes, bluefins. Skipjack, I don't know, maybe skipjack's like whacked it or something. Never hooked a marlin on it. But marlins have come up and whacked that and then moved on to something else. So, and that's been the first thing to get whacked. You know, like that'll come out of the rigger and then we know a marlin doesn't spread. It's a nice looking bait. It swims well. The flash, the chrome, it gets them going.
Yep.
So $30 there for sure. I like putting an eel in it.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
like fishing an eel in it. I don't.
It's
I
getting
mean,
all horned up.
this
over
is
the deal.
So you guys like
we're getting
you guys
personal
throwing
here.
eels and shoots now? Is that like the big tip?
A
Big
lot,
trick?
a lot.
behind some that he's talking about too.
Yeah, that
Like wahoo
the
fish
jet
eel.
head, the jet head with the eel. I'll scrub the eels in bleach and take the brown skin off. They turn like electric blue. If you troll an eel all day, the skin will come off and it'll turn electric blue. Or you can grab a Brillo pad, throw it in a bucket with bleach, and just scrub the brown off. And that thing is glowing.
You know what it
Silver
looks
blue.
like? You know, purple haze Yamashita?
Yeah.
It looks like when you turn it the right way and it gets that purpley hue to it with the like
that
Chrome?
that
It's
with
like that.
with like a blue skirt or like some Flashaboo or something. I mean,
that sounds
that's a
delightful.
good
I
bait.
want to eat that.
That's
now.
a good. It makes me hungry. So that one's going out for sure. And then I got
You have 4 more and you have $70.
I got $70. Let's spend $60 on Joe Shoots.
So 3 Joe shoots.
3 Joe shoots. Fair enough.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Perfect.
go blue and white,
Yep.
5 3/4 ounce left long.
Yep.
I'm gonna go redheaded slut down the middle, 8 ounce, and then I'm gonna go blue and white, 5 3/4 ounce right side.
Wow,
Double
dude. I'm shocked.
Wow.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was fishing with someone and they said, I remember I asked some question. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay. We're getting a bunch of bites on this is made up, but the green spreader bar keeps getting whacked. We got a rainbow spreader bar over there. Why are you putting out another green spreader bar? We already have one. You got to give them what they want. And the term, like, give them what they want kind of resonated. So the blue and white Joe Shoot, multi-species. That thing gets,
Everything
gets smoked.
And it's easier to fish than like a Hawaiian eye or something.
It is. So I'd fish 2 of those
And it's cheaper.
in the longs. I'd put the red one down the middle.
With a crystal skirt on the red one.
Yep, with the crystal skirt. Put the Big Daddy eel in the flat line.
You got 1 more.
You're pretty much looking at our tournament spread.
You have $10.
$10.
You can buy a lot of $10. You can buy a lot of chuggerlicious.
Let's spend
Cheap
that.
items.
Let's spend that on a little Moldcraft chugger with a circle hook.
Thank God.
A little ballyhoo.
Jesus.
said it.
Can't
So
believe.
when something comes up, I
Drag that out of people sometimes.
like those in the flat
You
line.
could fish a whole spread for $20.
You got to have
With
that
those.
light
With
little
those.
dainty head in there just for that little fucking spindle beak.
everything
coming
on them.
I like them in
Got
the
that
flat
as
line.
the pitch, always ready.
Well,
Always
so that's the
don't-
thing.
don't crap,
Like
yeah.
it's a pitch bait, but I like fishing in the flat because it's already in the water,
Dude,
Like if something
100%.
comes up, you just free spool the reel and it's next to the fish that's out in the spread.
I prefer fishing my pitch in the
flat.
pin
Yeah.
in the flat.
Yeah,
I have to say, the last handful of trips, I was like gung ho on just a skipping medium belly with a small chin weight. I know it sounds like ridiculous.
From the center rigger, right?
From the center rigger, kind of close with a little chin weight with a little J hook.
doesn't
up tight.
sound ridiculous.
Dude, everything. And it's what's nasty is every single billfish that comes up tight goes to that thing like a laser beam. That's the first thing that goes to. You just walk over to that and pitch them through the clip if you wanted or whatever. But
And it's a pretty low angle too. So it's
Long
easy.
story short,
Big
five
eyes,
five
everything.
rods, 5 pieces of meat,
yeah.
ballyhoos, and if it's not an eel, it's another ballyhoo.
I like the eel. That was some great knowledge shared by both of you right there.
Let's blur that out.
Let's go back.
Let's be honest.
We'll bleep out eel.
So on that,
Out of several thousand people, maybe one person's gonna try it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
so I didn't say it, but like I was saying, Archie, we used to pull those big chrome head lures, those jets behind the boat, like 4 of them off the transom, and every single one of them had an eel behind it, always.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
No,
you
you,
can catch
you get multiple fish with that one eel.
all day.
You might have to take a couple wraps of wire on the head or on the
Wow.
eye
You
of the
just-
hook, but I mean that thing is
You
gonna
put
fish
you
all
put the eel on and then you sew it. You sew the eel head like underneath the head to the eye of the
Eye,
hook,
the crimpish
and then
area.
you sew the belly of the eel onto the hook.
You're not crimping through the eel's head.
Not like you're doing sort
You
of.
you could take a Joe Shoot.
You're
how it's
lining
rigged.
it up next to the hook and flossing it to the hook.
or
No,
whatever.
No, you're feeding it. You're putting
you
the
are
hook down
feeding
its
it.
throat. You're
Got
putting
it.
the hook down its throat.
Got it.
You could take a Joe Shoot that's rigged up for a ballyhoo, shove an eel, wrap it on there like you were putting a sea worm on a bass hook,
Yeah.
and then you're sewing it on.
Yeah.
And then
That saying,
you
if you
can
can't tie a knot, tie a lot. I just take that thing and wrap
It's
it
getting hidden
10
anyway.
times with the water.
Yeah.
And just
and
make
you
sure
can
it's tight.
you can fish that thing all day. I mean, think about when you're sword fishing and you're fishing an eel. That thing's down.
When are we
there
gonna start
swimming.
like going to local ponds and just pillaging pickerel and starting to put pickerel behind fucking Joe Shoots?
Start trolling Elvers behind their fucking
So, dude, Archie,
You could troll anything that wiggles.
Yeah.
Archie used to just slap on the hook. Just put the hook right to their head, right behind their head. Boom.
Yeah.
And obviously you lose them quicker that way, but
easy.
But if
Just
you got
old school.
I mean, they're cheap and you buy a lot of them.
I'm not saying I do that, but
If you're
worked.
listening, we're just kidding. No eels.
That was awesome. That was really good.
Don't want commercial spreads.
He kind of talked about that a little bit. It's we have a lot of better questions. I feel
All
like
right.
we can touch on
That's
that.
fine.
Favorite overnighter meals, boys? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Jimmy Dean's are a staple.
well, so I'm spoiled. I haven't been on these big commercial boats with the full kitchens and stuff. So I got Kyle and Battle Wagon cooking like huevos, rancheros, and like for breakfast, the whole nine. It's nuts. I mean, like
That is nuts.
slow cooked chili in the crock pot all day.
What's the
like,
favorite thing that you eat on the boat, period? What's like the one meal that sticks in your head?
I think breakfast is probably the most important. I mean, it's the first one of the day, and I'm usually hungry like before the sun even comes up.
with- I'm
If
with
I'm
you
up
there.
at 4, I'm
Just
hungry
like
at 4:30.
big
Yeah.
breakfast sangy? You're talking like individual things on a plate.
No, breakfast sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd say breakfast too.
I'm with you. Breakfast.
Breakfast is good.
Same.
I mean, like dinner time, like that's like in the canyon, like that's big eye time. Like I got more important shit to worry about than
Yeah.
Or you get set
making
up
dinner
swordfish,
or
whatever.
you know.
Unless the fishing's slow.
The cold cut sandwiches are okay, but like, you know, some eggs or like something nice in the morning.
I gotta say, there's nothing better than like when someone else makes coffee and brings like a cup of coffee out to you while you're, you just get the morning spread out and you're like
Special.
watching the spread. That's the best feeling in the world.
I don't drink iced coffee often, but I like iced coffee in a solo cup with a little bit of milk / almond milk in it.
Yeah.
And my breakfast in the morning is actually a cold breakfast. You know what it is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
The Lucky Oats.
Oatmeal.
Way more
yeah.
lucky.
Overnight oats.
Yeah. Overnight oats. I've
Claire
seen-
makes me the overnight oats, dude. It's because I eat them in like morning slack tide, so
Yeah.
like usually lines up with a bite. But I've fucking hooked up eating my oats so many times.
Dude,
So that's another one.
Dozens of
Superstitions.
times.
Yeah, that's definitely
Like-
superstition.
Every trip.
I would say
What, every bites while
I would say
it's eating?
75% of our morning bites last year and the year before was when I was
either eating or like
just finished.
shitting.
just finished.
Or shitting.
Oh, shitting.
Man, did we get a poop bite? We got a doo-doo green stick bite.
Yeah, let's talk about some poop bites.
Yeah,
Poop
yeah.
bites are great.
Dude, poop bites are real. That's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
How about you? Do you have any poop bites?
I don't think so.
No poop bites? How about you?
Well, yeah, I was with Brian.
Dude, he
on
pooped
Salty
like
Seas.
18 times in one
You're an
trip.
avid pooper.
He's an
Yeah,
avid
poop a lot.
farter too on the boat. You gotta watch out.
I got movements.
Oh, it just means everything's working.
Yeah. All systems go.
I had a poop bite on a 900 pounder with you and Dad.
Yep.
I've had, I think, one or two with you. I think I've had
we had a green stick poop.
green
bite. I was
stick
taking a
poop
dump.
bite. I had a green stick cockpit shower fully naked bite.
That's a good one.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a shower
Yeah.
bite. I got a
What boat was that on?
That was on Matt's
Oh,
boat,
why were you
Salty
naked
Seas.
on the back of a boat?
We were on our way home trolling the flat. We left the stick up.
Everyone's asleep.
Everyone's like chilling. We're like, getting ourselves squared away. We were dodging some weather on the way home. I'm like, oh, fucking shower. So I'm literally lathered up, ass naked in the back, and the breakaway is like, oh God. And I was back there by myself. No one wanted to come back because my hog's flopping around.
Oh,
All sudsed
my
up.
God.
I have a picture of me. It was a white marlin that ate the stick, and we had to take a picture. It was hilarious. I have a towel wrapped around me holding the white with Matt. It's pretty
Unreal.
fun. Yeah.
on Rally Cap. I got a shower bite. We were moving canyon to canyon. We decided to just troll overnight. I think it was like during one of those like Northeast Offshore Cups, and like swordfish weren't worth much or whatever. I don't know. We were like, okay, let's just troll from oceanographer to Veach, and we were like, okay, let's do it overnight. And me and Cole ran the boat all night, and so like didn't catch shit, didn't have a fucking bite. And then the sun was like coming up, and everybody kind of woke up. And I was like, "Hey, Alex, I'm gonna go take a shower." It was like day 2, and I I go down and take a shower. We haven't had a bite in like, I don't know, 18 hours or some shit. Like the whole day before was awful. And I go in the shower. I'm taking a shower and I feel the boat come out of gear. I'm like, no way. There's no way. And I just continue my shower, and like 10 seconds later, one of the guys runs in. He's like, oh, we're on. We're covered up. We're on. And I run out in a towel. I got a towel wrapped around my waist. Gaff the first yellowfin, towel comes off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah. There's pictures somewhere.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think we got like, I don't know, we had like 5 yellowfins in like one pass or something. It was pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've only had one poop bite with Dad, actually. Mike Pratt came up to us to come talk to us, and he was like 20 feet from the side of our boat. And I could hear Dad yelling. They were yelling back and forth, chatting. And I was down taking a dump, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I heard the down rod go off, and I was like, it was like half. I was basic Crayoling, like
Drawing.
It was like drawing. It was like drawing on the bowl, but it was still attached. And I fucking just cut. I just stood up, broke it off, wiped up, fucking went out there, and I don't remember if we got the fish or not. But the bite was pretty legendary.
That's the shit that makes it even better. Like it's fun enough, but that shit's like, that's what makes the memory.
We need to go over this.
Yeah. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Satfish, Satellite Fishing Technology. If you've been fishing for any length of time, especially offshore, you should understand how important preparedness is to a successful day on the water or multiple days on the water. Satfish combines the latest high-definition satellite images and maps with advanced planning tools to make it easy to find the most productive offshore fishing grounds. Head straight to the bite zone instead of wasting time and fuel searching through lifeless water. You can visit satfish.com to check it out. Use the promo code SEARS22 for $20 off your first year, and that includes a free 30-day trial. Give it a look if you're a canyon fisherman. Sea surface temperatures, chlorophyll, bathymetry, it's all on there. Great resource, great dashboard, easy to use, very intuitive. Check it out, satfish.com. You guys have both done charters. I mean, you fished with Damon a shit ton the last few years, especially. What's the weirdest / oddest / whatever charter? You don't need to mention names, but like most awkward, weird, strange group of people you fished with.
So Damon doesn't have a lot of those. They're mostly return clients.
Yeah.
But there's this one guy said, I'm not going to mention names. He comes, I don't know if he came last year. He was there the year before and the year before that. And he's fished all over the world and done charters in Aruba and Bahamas and Hawaii and all this stuff. So he has his own little bag of goodies that he likes to bring.
Yeah, always.
And,
that's a pet peeve, by the way.
And
Like
of
charter
course we
brings
had
bags of goodies.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
yeah. And of course it was a slow trip. So this guy's like, oh, let's try this. I got a wahoo on this in Aruba, and I got like the sailfish on this, and like it's like, I mean, it was just nonstop. And then we ended up catching a couple yellowfins, and we always bring more than enough ice, like more than enough. Like 3 big Yeti, not even Yetis, like his, I forget what coolers he uses, but 3 big coolers chock full, and then we got ice in the deck and whatnot. And we had all our fish iced out and gutted and headed and packed nice, and then we cut them on the way in for them and loined them out and put them in bags. And he was complaining that they weren't 40 whatever certain temperature to the degree. He's like, there's no way these loins are 48 degrees cold. Like, these aren't edible. Like,
yikes.
And it was just like, and then he shorted us on the tip.
No
on
way.
top of that. So it was like
dude.
slow fishing. He's just complaining the whole time. And they got to the point where like it was hot. The fishing was slow. Like, and that boat gets pretty hot in the fly bridge. Like when there's no wind and like you're in like a magnifying glass. And that
Isinglass just bakes you.
Yeah. And there's no breeze. Like you can open those top little hatches, but when there's no wind, like you're getting nothing. So I mean, it was just
That's tough.
Miserable.
And that's just purely just
That's
not
I've never heard a complaint like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it was like, and yeah, I mean, we were all like, we didn't even say anything. We were like, oh no, like those, They
Does he
don't
know
get much colder than that.
Every single fish he's ever eaten in his whole life.
It's 40
I mean,
degrees.
it
Takes
was,
way longer to cool down than you guys
The
did.
thing was just swimming in 77
Yeah,
degree water.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
takes a little bit for that
Yeah.
temperature to come down.
no, but they were cold. Like there was,
Like firm.
yeah.
That's
we probably cut them all in the first hour. I mean, we only caught maybe 4 or 5 yellowfins, you know, and cut them all up in the first hour. And that way we can wash the cockpit and wash the boat on the way in and have everything tidied up by the time we hit the dock. And so they sat on ice after we lined them and bagged them for probably hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I don't know.
What's your like? Are you kind of like the all right, you know, kind of like quiet approach to someone like that, or will you like rally back and forth with them if they're pissing you off?
No, I'll go back and forth. Like he mentioned something about catching a sailfish on a lure. I was like, well, we're not catching sailfish here.
Yeah.
You know, not being rude enough because I'm obviously relying. That's a client and the tip money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna. But like,
like
Damon can tell because I think I probably went more quiet than
Yeah.
verbal.
You can't like completely give in situations like that either. Like you have to kind of stand your ground.
Exactly. You can't be like, oh, well, we'll try that. It's like, no, this is what works. This is what we've done. We did well last trip. Like, it's just
Pulls you out of your
fishing.
routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the minute you lose confidence, it's tough.
Yeah.
You got any good?
Yeah. I would say, you know, unique. You know, I won't say
Unique.
weird. You know,
Unique New York.
I think we've all had like shitty charters where just, you know, the vibes are off and
You know it's not gonna happen.
You know it's not gonna happen, and like the group's just not. You know, they're not in great spirits. You're not in great spirits. Whatever. But I'd say, you know, kind of funny to mix in there, and coming off of what Slick said, when people bring their own tackle, you know, like that's a unique situation.
It can be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did a canyon charter on Top Dog. It's a sporty, and same with like Damon's boat. It's a high paying charter. You know, it's a pretty boat, and it's an overnighter. You know what I mean? They're kind of expecting a lot, and you're expected to deliver and all that. And so one of the clients, you know, he brings this big tackle bag, like big one, like
Bigger than mine.
big, like
That's tough to beat.
big. It's one of those like full size Shimano. Like
God,
this
Jesus.
this thing's probably 30 pounds.
Like 800 zippers.
This
With
thing's
things everywhere.
It's he brought a tackle station.
Hooks hanging out, rusty.
So he brought a tackle station.
How many
and,
butterfly jigs did he have?
And
Separate bag for those.
so well, no, the best part was there was like all these like deep divers and swimmers and shit, and we were joking. We're like, hey, let's tell this guy that he has to cast this deep diver all night and like reel it in and shit. Anyway, it was a unique time. It was great. We caught yellowfin, big eye. It was great. But the best part about that trip was on the rate. Actually, we were fishing next to you. You were with Damon. You remember we were catching big eyes in the weeds at Welker? It was at Welker. Not this past year, the year before. Crocker pulled in. He got right on him. I remember anyway.
They all make sense. There's so many trips. It's like
Yeah.
Big Eyes Welker.
Yeah. Anyway.
Several times.
Anyway, yeah. We were fishing, and then someone on the radio was like, "Oh, we got wahoo." And so like one of the clients heard wahoo on the radio, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just storms into the cockpit with 2 wire wahoo lures like in his hands, you know what I mean? And like I had to let him down easy, being like, yeah, no, it's just real. He's like, no, but these are wahoo lures. Like someone said wahoo, and I was like, sorry, man, like it's just not, you know, it's not gonna go out. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, his 40-pound bag, like it's like this cooler, right? Is sitting this. You know, when a charter comes, it's like, hey, bring like a small cooler and like a duffel bag, like storage is all taken up, you know, space is accounted for on this boat. So he brings his tackle box and we're like, yeah, whatever. And it's on the counter. And so at nighttime, the Top Dog's pretty good. There's 2 staterooms and an L couch, and I'm out back like on the mezzanine, dozing off, watching the rods, dozing off. And so there's people in the front, in the bunks, and then there's people in the stateroom, and then there's people on the couch. One of the guys is laying on the floor. So he's sleeping on the floor, like looking out the door, and the counter is right above him.
Oh God.
Tell me that
with a
thing fell on his
40-pound
fucking
tackle
head.
box, dude. and we're side 2 at nighttime sword fishing. Sure as shit, we get a snappy wave. The 40-pound tackle box comes off and lands right on this guy's face, dude.
It's like a cinder block to the face.
Cinder block to the face. And the guy just screams. He goes, "Ow!" And like the kid that brought the tackle box immediately was like, I'm sorry. So just like, charters are all fun no matter, sometimes the vibes are off and you can just tell it's not going to suck. And like Slick said, you get a little quiet and it's like, it turns into work and you're like, I'm getting through it. And then sometimes there's some unique characters and it's like, it's pretty funny, like people watching the,
it's a blast.
the whole
Being
thing.
on the
I
beach,
love
but you're stuck with the weird people.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love giving them a good time and like, laughing and joking around with them and shit.
Reliving like your first day offshore with a new group is like that experience.
Exactly.
Is awesome.
We had like a porpoise like pinning squid up against the transom and the lights and shit.
That was actually another question. What's the
just-
craziest thing you've ever seen at nighttime out there?
Just a big tiger shark we caught. I mean, probably Archie said it was. Archie's like, yeah, I've killed 1,000-pounder. That thing's a lot bigger.
Wow.
Like 1,200-1,300 pound tiger shark and
What'd you get him on?
squid. Swordfish bait. Yeah.
We had a tiger shark. That was cool. For one and only time I've ever seen one. That was cool. One night though, the porpoise pinning squid up against the boat, like in the lights, was pretty cool. Like watching them feed.
Yeah.
Things are scary.
Yeah, something similar like that too. Like seeing squid so thick you could walk on them.
Were you there on Pescaria with the little swordfish and then Peyton gaffed the mahi?
No.
That was cool. On Pescaria, me and Manny had just put the swordfish baits out, and I put the top one like up in the clip just so like the line didn't fall down on the other. So it's up in the rigger. The far floater is like up in the rigger, and it popped out. I'm like, oh fuck! Like I didn't do the clip right. And then I put it back up, and then it like pops up again. I'm like, damn, I just tightened that thing. What a coincidence. Dude, literally. So I put it back
Swordfish
up.
just swimming out there.
I put it back up. It pops out again, and then it goes like, and then me and Manny like look at each other. Oh yeah, he's on. So then like I'm reeling it in.
How much time that thing eat that squid?
Dude,
He
reeling
pooped it out.
in. There was nothing there. I'm like, Manny, come down, because this thing's the far one's like way out there. We got like 3 rods spread. I'm like, Manny, come down here. Like confirm there's nothing on here. Nothing on here. Put it back up in the clip. It stays in the rigger all night. We pull it in the morning. There's like a 8-pound swordfish on there.
Rigor mortis.
Dead. And but anyway, that was cool. Bringing that in. And then there was mahis swimming in the lights. And Peyton, Miles' old mate, was like a Florida kid. And anyway, he's a great dude. And he comes out, and we're like reeling in the lines, and there's mahis swimming in the lights, and he comes out and free gaffs one. He just grabs the gaff and bang, hits like a 12-pound mahi. It was pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. They're so hard to hook at night, I feel like.
Yeah.
Every time the mahi come in the lights, I have the hardest
I don't think I've ever hooked one.
You gotta
Got
feed them.
one.
You gotta throw them a couple chunks and then get
They
them
eat
horny.
them, but I can't get them to eat my own chunk. Like, and I'm
Remember
good
it?
at chunking, and I can't get a damn mahi.
Remember that school when we're between Veach and Hydro on that corner there with Larry Backman.
Barry Lackman.
Jesus,
Barry
this is
Lack.
going way back.
And we caught like 4 tunas on live squids, and we had like a complete blackout of mahi going to the boat that night.
Really? Remember
That's where the story
seeing
ends.
mahi.
It's not funnier or anything. I'm just asking.
Was that the same night we saw the the humongous squid? Wasn't a giant squid, but it was like a 2.5,
large
3
squid.
foot squid,
Yeah, I
like
believe
red.
so.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
Swimming by?
probably this big.
Yeah.
And the lights.
lights?
In
Yeah.
the lights.
Wow.
Like that big around.
Yeah.
And it was like red, like beautiful red.
Dark red.
And I first saw it and we thought it was like a shark or cobia or something like in the edge of the lights. And then it came through and I'm like, holy shit, it's a big, huge squid. Like one of those Humboldt squids. You know, I don't know if they come to the canyons or not, but it was big.
gotta
Nighttime
be
out
down
there is
there.
like being on another planet.
Oh, remember?
Even if you don't see anything in the water, just being out there at night is fucking
I
insane.
agree.
Yeah.
The stars and shit.
Yeah.
Remember that mystery bite we had?
Had a
Salty
few of
Seas.
those.
Salty Seas.
Yes, I do.
Big piss and drag, and then
Yep.
You've had 2 of those?
One with Rob, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
looking back after a few years of catching manta rays,
Most likely a manta ray.
You know,
Yeah.
it was like a beautiful rigged mackerel, dead mac, and I think it was on like an 80 or something. Like, I don't know what the drag is at, like whatever. And pissing line, like pissing.
Same as
Not even
Rob
trying.
West Phantom Bite.
Did you get
and
the
then-
bait back?
Bait came back pristine.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the exact same thing. We had
It's got to be a manta.
identical.
But like,
Or is it a
how is
sword
how is
eating
it
the
pulling?
light?
How it's probably. A
But
sword.
there's like both.
But I've lost swords even during the day. The line's not chafed at all.
Yeah, but how about
Big
your
one.
bait? Is your bait all messed up? Because we got our baits back, and it was like we just rigged
Fishing
put them down.
strips.
it looked like it was just rigged.
Mackerel that were perfectly rigged.
Flutter
Li-
Mac.
And they look
Line-
perfect still.
Perfect.
Line was going out at like
that's
20
500
knots. and
yards
it looked
line
perfect.
out.
Yeah.
Fishing lead.
Yeah.
Maybe they ate the lead. or
Like
light,
zip tied
who knows,
20 ounce, like light current zip tied 20 ounce to
an
like an
LP light.
That's the only thing that makes sense is they came up and just swallowed the light.
Weirdest shit ever. Like it
Because you
wasn't
think
like
if they even got snagged, like the bait would at least get twisted
fouled,
out
something,
twisted.
right?
The hook
Yeah.
would
Like
be,
it
the
was
hook
a
would tear the hole
sideways
off.
or yeah.
Slick, it was a rigged mackerel. It pissed off 200 yards of line at 20 knots. The mackerel came back perfect.
Put it back out.
We put it back out. Yeah.
and the same thing happened with us.
I will say on the mackerel, I mean, you're one of the sword lords, but on the mackerel bites, actually catching and successfully hooking and catching swordfish, I've had better luck tail rigging them with the tail still on, tail off, versus like a flutter mackerel.
I only
with
rig
the
them through the
swords.
tail.
Yeah.
Through the tail. And just
I'll just loop a floss loop through the tail and then just put the hook through that, spin it a couple times, and go back through your original loop.
Yeah.
Like what you would bridling.
But it's weird, like
band or
like a
something.
flutter mac, like trim the pec fins, little things like absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But for some reason those
Probably have a better
tail
shot of
rigged
getting
baits,
tuna, but
yeah,
Yeah.
whether they
It's-
just sit.
and that's a long line thing too, and buoy fishing thing, like with buoy fish with Archie and that guy Steve Diffenbacher, like that's how he taught me to hook them, like just through the tail, and they'll do that with their Boston Max and their Spanish Max and all the fish baits they're fishing, buoy fishing for swords. So kind of just figured I'd
do it.
when you
obviously.
yeah. I think it's mostly like hook exposure, I want to say.
yeah, you got less
Have-
meat, less
like the-
meat where the
Yeah,
barb.
just having
barb
that
is
whole
out.
hook exposed.
Barb is out.
Yeah.
The whole hook is exposed. Yeah, just laying on the
plus when they're in
side,
the current, I mean, they're still probably upright.
just
swimming,
facing the tail.
You know,
the other way. Yeah.
I know a lot of the guys that were fishing at night in the Carolinas, which I've never done, but I've seen guys rig baits. They'll rig a flutter bait backwards, you know, just because it's a lot less drag and it won't
shoot it
spin.
down. You mark
They can shoot it down, and
300 feet
the
down.
current's so fast it just picks up like this, and
Yeah.
even if it's slightly head down, it looks natural.
Yeah, that
But,
makes sense.
So the swordfish that you've killed, have you had any that have had the mackerel in their stomach? And if so, are they all head down? Like, are they like tunas where they're all like they stack the bait in the same way, or is it all random?
It's all just mixed
they
in.
just eat it like a shark. They
Yeah.
just eat it.
And a lot of the stuff in the swordfish bellies are all mostly like eel shapes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the snake mackerels are eating on the bottom.
Squids,
The
eels.
squids, I mean, there's no kind of rhyme or reason. There's no head first or tail first. It's all just, especially when they're packed in there. I mean, like a tuna, you know, you find them full, chock full.
Yeah, all perfectly head down.
Yeah.
Usually.
Now these are the swords. I find them they're more mixed up.
I think a lot of it too with the tuna, especially with us, is like they're feeding into the tide most of the time.
Yeah.
that herring's moving with the current. You know, getting trapped or moving with that upwelling. That fish comes into the tide with those baits. They're fucking staring right at them.
Yeah.
And I think
you
with
know?
the tunas too, like I think the big ones especially, like they'll come through and they'll try and eat, and they're not going to sit there and circle a bait ball like I think a swordfish would.
Yeah,
Right, they just
Come
shoot
back
through.
on squid and. 'Cause, I mean, there's squid or bottom feeders too. I mean, or not squid, swordfish or bottom feeders. Like they'll just slash around in the mud, and that's where they pick up a lot of those micro baits and eat lobsters and crabs and
That's why their bills
crustaceans
are
and
all
whatnot.
scratched
Yeah,
up and digging through the mud.
They're such cool fish. I've only caught a handful of them, but they're just awesome.
yeah.
They are cool.
There's something about those things.
The depth is really cool.
Yeah.
We pulled a big eye off the bottom, deep dropping for swords. Biggest one we ever got on Top Dog, 77.
Ooh, that's
And it was like, yeah, it was big. We didn't get a weight on it, but I mean, it was big.
Yeah, a couple of the bigger ones I've caught run
and-
for sword fishing too.
And it's like, you think about that. So when we pulled the fish into the boat and I was like taking its head off and coring it, like it was cold. You know what I mean? Like the fish was cold. Imagine how cold it is.
Down there,
That
yeah.
was next
it was-
to us, right?
That was Welker. No, that was September. We were the only boat there.
You guys got a nice one in Gilbert too, right?
Yeah,
Or the
75. Yeah. That was a good
That was
one.
crazy.
That
There were
dude,
swordfish everywhere
that was
too.
sick.
Really?
Like we were on the Seabourn, we saw like 6 on the surface at least, and we went 2 for 4 during the day. Caught like a 175 and like a 225 or 250,
Savage.
and then jumped off 2 that were just as nice. Then caught like a 300 on the troll.
That's
On a Joe's shoe on
Sundown.
top of like a big eye and a bunch of yellow.
Dude,
fins.
they got a swordfish on the troll. We set up. We immediately got like a 150 sword. Lost 2 more at night. Went 1 for 3 at swords at night. Woke up. First bait out was the eel. Maybe not the eel. It was the eel. and so like we're putting the spread out. Like didn't even have like everything in the riggers. Like spread wasn't even set yet. And bang, like nice big eye. Then the next one, like 30 minutes later, long rigger ballyhoo was like a 75-inch big eye. Yeah,
It's crazy how the fall fishing is
biggest
such
one
a
I've
big
caught
fish.
71
yeah.
inches.
That was in the beginning.
That was the beginning.
That
of the
was
year.
first eddy, first Gulf Stream eddy that hit those Eastern Canyons.
Yeah, that was July. First week of July
the Eastern Canyons,
in Gilbert.
special place.
I like July. I've had some
July's
of
the
the
best
best
fishing?
tuna fishing trips I've ever had have been in July.
The
Like giant fish around the 4th of July, I feel like is always lights out.
That was sick.
The best quality fish I've caught, like biggest yellowfins, biggest big eyes, is like towards the end.
Damon's tournament dates.
Yeah.
End of July.
Yeah.
One question I want to ask both of you guys. What was your first canyon trip like?
I was honestly probably too young to remember. I was with Willie Hatch. My dad's good buddies with him, so I was like 11, 12 years old. So I remember sleeping the whole way out, reeling in a couple fish, sleeping the whole way in. But I mean, it was great. That was in his old green boat, the green Machaca.
JC.
Yeah.
The twins in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that boat. That was a cool little boat.
Yeah. And then after that, my first real one was with Povich on that Guzzler boat. It's like a friend of a friend invited me to fish the big game battle on the Guzzler, the 42 Viking, and got teamed up with Damon for like the overnight challenge. You know, they team boats up,
Yeah.
and we caught a couple big eyes and yellowfins and a white, and Damon caught big eyes whenever we ended up getting like first place. And he was like, "Oh, I'm buying a commercial boat. If you want to come fish with me, and this old guy Archie's going to teach us the way." That's kind of how it all started.
Talk about like an unbelievable start.
Yeah.
Like that's like you couldn't have asked for anything better.
Got lucky, yeah.
Honestly. That's so awesome. I always love hearing people's first canyon trips.
Yeah.
How was yours?
Mine was with Johnny on Provider. It was when was it? It was in Nantucket. I think it was June. And Nick Darzenta, Dars, Cape Kid, was fishing with Johnny at the time. And it was me, Johnny, Dars, and then Felix, the owner. And we pulled up. I think we left Nantucket like midday. So we pulled up in the evening. Got like 2 rat yellowfin. First yellowfin tuna I ever saw. And then got a swordfish that night. Like a nice, like legal, barely legal, like small swordfish.
70
That was
pounder.
cool. You know what I mean? Like sweet. And then got like some nice yellowfins and a couple mahis. You know, not like a banger, but like first
That's
trip,
still a
like
banger
That's a good
for
trip.
first
seeing pelagic fish,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, running 100 miles and catching cool shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a respectable first trip. I feel like most people's first trips that I've asked that question, you know, told the story or whatever, it's at least like a B grade trip.
I got a good first trip for you guys. We all know Joe Gigino.
Oh yeah.
Coast to Joe.
Oh hell yeah.
Right?
He's been
hell
on
of
the
a guy.
podcast.
He's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, hell of a guy.
And Joey's first canyon trip on Top Dog, we had this thing planned.
This is nonsense.
I think I've heard
We had this thing
a little bit of the
planned.
story.
We had this thing planned for a while. And I think it was like we're going to go first week of July or second week of July or whatever. And then, I don't know, someone's schedule on the trip like didn't align. And we were like, all right, the water's kind of there. And it was end of June. We were like, let's give it a shot. And like, so people were at the dip and over at the tails and like north of Hudson, like picking away at some yellowfins. There were some big eyes mixed in. Obviously the small bluefins, right? So the small bluefins, end of June, you know,
Pretty much a
can't miss
guarantee.
them. Can't miss them. So everyone's in there, and then there's a couple big eyes getting caught, and we're in the Cape, right? So we're not going to run down to Hudson really. And we're like, maybe Atlantis, like kind of, maybe, who knows? The water wasn't out to the east yet, where we like going. That's our preferable location is out east. If the water's there, we're going.
Yeah.
And
when we say east, we're saying like Beach, Hydro.
East,
right?
Beach and east.
Beach and east. Okay.
Beach and east.
All right. Yep.
The Atlantis in July and August is like Stellwagen in July and August.
Exactly.
It's just loaded with boats and,
Too much pressure.
Not that it's not great. It is, but it's great fishing alone out east.
Yeah.
So anyway, we made the decision, the worst decision, to go to the tsunami buoy.
I remember that.
And we get there. So we're like, fuck it. Let's not play around with, because we knew there were a couple like big guys getting caught. And you look at the feature, you look at the piece of water, you look at the temp chart, and the piece of water that's feeding into that Hudson area where the big guys were getting caught was the other end of it was at the buoy. It was there. And it was. So here's the best part. We come over the edge. We're coming over Atlantis. It's like 69 degrees or something. We see some porpoise and shit. We're like, fuck it. Like, let's stick to the plan. And we get to the buoy. Water's 77. And it's like beautiful crystal blue.
Licking your chops.
We're like, oh my God, here we go. Nothing.
Complete
Absolutely not a
I've had that there.
Fished the buoy. We ran like 148 miles from the dock. Burned like 1,200 gallons of fuel.
Oh my God.
Didn't have a knockdown. Went inshore, went to the dip, steamed overnight to the dip, put the spread up in the morning, not a knockdown. And we went home. So Joe Gugino's first canyon trip, not a knockdown.
But his
second trip was the one that we were talking about a few minutes ago with the big eye and the swordfish.
He's actually told the story on here. It's like ridiculous.
I don't know if I'd ever go back to the King. I went out there
that's a
that
tough
far.
start.
It was bad.
Even have a bite.
It was bad.
That's bad.
We marked though, like when we
Usually
got,
you can get like a peanut mark.
Yeah, or at least a
Something.
skipjack.
dude, not even, you know what our only knockdown was a side tracker snagging the tsunami.
Oh, there he is. No.
Yeah.
That's tough.
But I mean, the water was 77, and we marked fish at 300 feet. Tuna fish at the buoy. So not a complete. Yeah, it was actually.
It was.
It was practice.
Yeah.
Practice. That's what we call it.
It's a hero
learning
zero
curve.
move though, going to
Yeah.
the buoy.
That's what we agreed upon. That's what we said.
When
Like,
it-
okay, we could probably go pick
when
at
it's good, it's
a
good.
few small bluefins, or we could go maybe catch a dozen big eyes.
Or you get
Or
a
100 big
500-pound
eyes.
blue in fucking June.
That was kind of the plan. That Maryland water that Slick was talking about. That's the whole thing. We were tracking the water. Going back to being a part of a tournament team and all that. Like, make yourself useful. Like, bring some information to the table and all that. Like, look at the water. Know where you're going. And add value that way. So we're looking at the water. We're tracking the Gulf Stream. That whole piece of water that had all those marlins in it was feeding right up to the buoy.
Yeah.
And that was the whole decision. It's like,
And you could kind of follow that piece of water too. All the boats that were fishing that Moorhead bite, that bite was moving like 10 miles to the T almost a day. Everybody was just following it. Most boats were moving up port every 3 days.
Yeah.
That's exactly why we went to the buoy. We were like, make it or break it.
Gotta take the risk.
Gotta take the risk.
It's an expensive risk.
That is
Yeah.
an expensive risk.
Yeah.
OG would be fucking pissed.
We did that once in the tri-state, and I was fishing with Gypsy.
The buoy?
Well, so it was slow for everybody, and we're like, fuck it. Like, I had done a buoy trip recently, and it was lights out, big eyes, big blue marlins, big yellowfins, everything. And it was nighttime, and it was getting foggy, and like we were kind of just all trying to make a plan, and we were all up on the bridge at this point, still trolling. It was dark, and we are like, all right, fuck it, let's just try and make it to the buoy and see what we can do. We have time to come back and fish tomorrow. If not, sure enough, we get to where we thought it was, where we all had like, it shows it on different, you gotta kind of like look up the GPS coordinates online to get the exact location. Like, it'll show it on your Navionics and on your chart, but it's not right there always.
I think it
moves.
swings with the tide a lot.
Yeah,
too.
and it moves. So
It's got a lot of
sure enough,
Yeah,
we went out
I'm
there
sure.
and try to find it, and it was dark and foggy, and didn't find it. didn't find the fucking thing. So we wasted probably
Oh,
6 hours of tournament time. And this was, I'll admit it, this was my, like, let's go check out the buoy. Let's go find the fucking buoy. Get out there. It's pea soup fog. Like, radar.
You don't know that's going to happen.
Dude, the thing's small too. It's like a foot. It's probably like 2 feet high.
No, it's got to be 4 feet high.
It's like the size of the smaller weather buoy west of West Atlantis. Correct?
Yeah. Not
as
2
wide
feet,
as
not
this
2 feet.
table.
But it's
I've
not
never
like
been
it's not
there,
like
so.
a big buoy.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, that place is
I was like
crazy.
envisioning the first time. I thought.
I mean, if
it
it's
was gonna be
rough,
this,
it's going to be hard to
The
see.
year
Yeah.
Let
Pescaria,
alone
before Miles started running Pescaria, the year they won the big game battle, they fished the buoy, and it was like, I just remember like the halyards were full. It was just like,
yeah.
multiple blue marlin releases, multiple white marlin releases, big eyes, yellow fins. It was just like,
That was the tsunami buoy.
was that real life? Yeah, that was at the tsunami.
It's
buoy.
crazy out there.
Miles'
We've gone there.
story, or not Miles, Manny's story from the tsunami buoy that year is insane.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I wish we had more fads and more shit like that. You know, it's just so tough with the run we have.
Yeah. I mean, that's 140 miles.
Yeah,
And I
all
mean,
day.
like, there's so many tankers that go through there.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like the fads, I'm not sure. I've never, Slick has fished in the Caribbean and all these other places. Where are those fads? Central
places.
America.
The fads in the
Rica.
Like the Costa Rican fads, right?
Dominican,
Costa Rican fads are like 70 plus to like 100 plus miles.
Yeah,
the
something
Dominican
like
fads are
200.
pretty not close, but they're like 60 miles.
Yeah.
They have
40
them
to
off
60
Florida
miles.
too, don't they?
Hawaii, they have them.
So in the Dominican, they're
along.
getting,
All the way down the coast, like to. Sean's gonna smack me for saying the wrong terminology, but like the southern tip of the Big Island,
Yeah.
from the harbor in Kona down to that tip, there's multiple fads on the way down. There's a lot of places that they fad fish.
I know. I think
I guess-
Bosco tried to, or he made one. I think they put one out and it was good. They dove it and like caught wahoo and shit. But then I think he said it was gone.
Yeah,
Archie
I've heard
always swept
multiple theories and stories. On
Kind of a myth.
I've heard like he had a fad, and I've also heard that like he just had the buoys to himself for a while. But that'd be sick. I'll have to get him on and ask him.
I think he did. I think it was like a cargo net and the whole thing.
Yeah.
That would be that'd be a pretty cool project. You
would
know,
be.
if you could get some funding or whatever, but it would be overfished and the secret would not be kept and all that. And then how do you keep it from getting swallowed up by a tanker?
I guess there's something going on in the DR with like it's either the government or somebody paying like certain fishermen to go out and get rid of all these fads. So
Really?
a lot of the fads are already gone.
Really?
So I guess Tim Richardson is like through his like losing his mind, and half of the fads he fishes are all gone. And
That
Wow.
sucks.
so
Why
I
is
don't know
that? Just
who's.
because
I'm
of
not
the-
sure. I've heard it from a few different people. I don't know exactly why.
I bet Frank
know
would
if-
know.
Probably.
He's got a good relationship with Paco down there.
I think Galvin just.
I know there's guys that are being paid to go out and get rid of the fads.
Interesting. Huh. So boys, we got like one kind of like wrap up topic, which we've all been chatting about prior to this thing, but it doesn't have to be any particular format or structure to your answer, but think about yourself like 10 years ago. You know, you guys are all like mid-20s, late 20s now. I'm mid-30s. You're the same. If you were gonna give a young mate, captain, kid getting into offshore fishing, wanting to get on boats to canyon fish and like experience what you've all and we've all been fortunate enough to experience, what advice would you give them?
Soak up as much as you can. From everybody. It's kind of probably easier said than done, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy. Like as a young kid, it's easy to sleep on those long ride outs and not pay attention to the little details. But I mean,
That's a
that's
good
kind of what
point,
makes a big
sleeping.
difference. Is you miss a lot, even if it's just sitting next to the captain in the chair for that 3 hour ride out, or sitting next to Joe for 10 hours on a delivery, and little things like that. Always ask what you can do and kind of just be there
Yeah.
and be
Be
A lot
present.
of like cool
present, yeah,
topics come
exactly,
up
yeah.
while you're just
Be present.
chatting.
Be present. Don't go
You
along
learn
for
a
the
lot.
ride.
Just chit chatting.
Yeah.
Makes you think and triggers ideas and.
It's
a good
honestly
point.
one of, I think, the aside from rigging baits and all that shit, but just being able to have a normal conversation with someone out there is one of the most vital skills, honestly.
Yeah.
I think whether you're charter fishing, private boat fishing, fun fishing, it all starts with that. It's all, there's always that tension, that anxiety of like, oh, I'm on a new boat. You know, what do I bring? What do I do? What do I this? Just sit back, listen, and just communicate with people.
Yeah. Communication for sure.
Communication.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. But being present, you know, you can, if you're like an 18, 20-year-old kid, which is like the perfect age to start, you know, college, right? What am I going to do in my summers? You know, Northeast New England, go fishing, you know?
Yeah.
And
Act like you want to be there.
Yeah,
people
that's the thing.
notice.
Be present. Don't go along for the ride. You know, be a part of the crew and get invited back. You know, you can go from being a passenger on a fishing trip to a career in fishing, you know, and that whole progression.
Pretty easily if you do the right things.
If you do the right things.
That's what happened
you
to
know?
me. I got invited as a friend on a tournament, friend of a friend who'd been to the canyons twice.
Yeah.
And it turned into a full-time job.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right after that,
Exactly. And just it's a constant learning process. You're always learning. You're always picking up on things. What was the first thing you said? The first thing you said.
Sitting with the captain on the way
No,
out.
before that, like the very first thing.
Be present.
Being present. Now, I mean,
Continue to. It was like learn from everybody or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
soak
soak
up
as much as you can.
soak up as
everything
much
up,
as you
yeah.
can. That's what you said. Soak up as much as you can. That's so important. Every single trip you go on, like soak up something new. Like, you know, if you want to stay involved, offer to run the boat. You can't offer to run the boat until you know how. You know, so stay up with the captain. Put sleep out the window. Forget about sleep. You're not going to sleep.
Could not agree more.
If you want to
Get used to not sleeping.
If you want to fish and do this whole thing, forget about sleep. Just it's gone.
It's true.
And you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to not sleep. And like, you know, Slick, myself, you guys like bouncing around canyon. You guys, you're going to the canyons. You're bluefin fishing. Like, okay, we're gonna get back to the docks Sunday at 8 p.m. We're gonna clean until 10 p.m. and I got a charter in Situate at 3 a.m.
Many times.
Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna do it. So like you got to get in that mindset where it's doable, because it is doable, and you have to
Sneak in a little land tune at a time, but you still don't sleep.
You know, you got to your sleep is gone, and you have to accept that, and then absorb.
Sacrifice the sleep for the land tuna time.
Yeah, exactly. But just absorb everything from everyone. And you go fishing on a crew. You're a part of a crew, and you know you're recognize who you are on the boat, right? Are you the captain? Are you the first mate? Are you the second mate? Are you a deckhand? Are you a charter client? Are you involved or whatever? And if you're like the second guy, like listen to the first mate. If you're the first mate, listen to the captain. You know, like understand
The hierarchy.
you know, the hierarchy and how it's happening, and you'll climb that by doing your job. You know, you'll go from the second or third mate to then being the first mate on another boat, because you'll be a part of a crew of 3 or 4 guys, and you guys are successful catching a bunch of fish. And then someone will be like, hey, you guys are awesome. Like, want to come fishing with me? And then you'll be the first mate on that boat. And then you'll do that, and then so on and so forth.
It sounds harsh too, but maybe you know when to keep your mouth shut. Like,
For sure.
You had those mates that come on and
Sure.
everybody's sick of them at the end of the trip, and it's like they're like, I've done this and that on that boat, and when in reality we all know what we've all done and haven't done, and
Don't start telling fishing stories right off the rip.
Oh,
That's
God.
that's what I'm
That's a
getting.
big one.
Yeah.
Don't
That's a big
start
one.
like that is a pet peeve. I mean, I think we're all guilty of it.
If you're
It
young,
also
you're
depends,
gonna be excited
like
to tell
if you know
stories.
someone like with you, like I've known you, but we haven't fished together. I'm comfortable like telling fish stories with you right off the rip. But if you don't know someone, you don't know the crew. It's one of the worst fucking things you can do. Honestly.
Yeah.
Compensating.
Yeah. And then if you
Makes it weird.
If you
Yeah, it
truly want to do it, in the off season, you can get better at it. Research, add the value, be able to rig tackle and be able to rig bait.
Yeah.
You know, like figure that out. You can do that on YouTube. You know,
100%. I was just telling our Patreon members, like, guys were asking questions. Was it last night or the night before? Last night about rigging ballyhoo. We usually do a ballyhoo rigging session, but I was like, you spend 4 hours, which is no time of learning fishing. 4 hours, like literally watching how guys rig circle hook ballyhoo, J hook ballyhoo. You could watch 50 different videos, probably more than that, in 4 hours, and you will know everything there is to know about, like prepping a ballyhoo to rigging a ballyhoo, how guys do the same thing 10 different ways, but it ends up being the same process: mouth closed, gills closed, pooped out.
If you took
backbone broken, whatever.
If you were like, fuck, I don't know. If you were like, damn, I don't know how to rig a ballyhoo. We go out and pull a bunch of plastic shit around. I wish we pulled more ballyhoo. In February, you could spend a couple $100 in 5 hours and be an expert at rigging ballyhoo. Go buy a pack of ballyhoo and put it on some hooks.
I was gonna add that same statement to it. Like, yes, I 100% agree with you. You can watch X amount of movies, listen to podcasts, whatever.
You still got to do it.
You have to do it. It's the muscle memory with your hands, and that's what builds speed. You can't you can have it in your head and you can prioritize all you want in your head, but until you know how to hold the belly so you aren't tearing the throat, shit like
and
that.
Be able to put it in the water and watch it adjust it, and one little tighten or one little tweak or something that's gonna make it swim straight.
I just think at the end of the day, like with technology now, I think there's absolutely no excuse for a 20-year-old to have to go on a canyon trip that wants to get into it and have not even the slightest clue about how a ballyhoo is even rigged.
Yeah.
In an hour, you can at least know that there's something that exists, like a pin rig or something. That's just doing no
ask
research.
Ask the questions.
Before getting on a boat.
If you're an 18, 20-year-old kid on a boat and there's a captain and a mate or whatever it is, if you got invited somehow, a friend of a friend, whatever it is, if you're there and if you love fishing, if you love striper fishing and you're like, damn, tuna fishing's awesome, canyon fishing is fucking sweet. I've been a couple times. If you want to continue to do that, when you go, and whoever's rigging the ballyhoo, sit down next to them and be like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" 100 out of 100 guys are gonna be like, "Grab a ballyhoo."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Watch this. Get yourself involved.
Part of being a fisherman and being a good fisherman is being able to teach people. It's like you can't do it all on your own out there, especially in the canyons. It's you need that team.
For sure.
You need that crew. So you ask questions, you're going to get an answer, and you're going to get usually a very, very detailed answer.
Yeah.
And if you're, like you said, can soak that up and, memorize things and, makes a huge difference.
Slick's the sword master. And we did a trip.
That's Tommy and those.
We did
learned from Tommy. He's
we did
the
it.
real sword.
Compared to myself, right? I didn't know shit about. I know about fucking trolling up yellowfins and catching bluefins, kind of. So it's I want to start catching swordfish, and Slick, watching him rig a squid. You know what I mean? It's oh, how'd you do that? Asking the questions, just continuing to figure out.
And you'll find to your point, your indirect point, I guess, is you'll find your niche. You'll find your niche within offshore fishing, and that's what's cool.
Is this still recording?
Nope. Just stopped.
When did it stop?
Very recently. I saw it.
What happened there?
I don't know. That's weird. Yeah. So we cut out a little bit there, but where we ended off was Slick was talking about advice for Slick and Mike were talking about advice for young fishermen mates coming into the whole canyon game, and we were focusing on absorbing things like a sponge, don't sleep. And we just started getting into how you can kind of create your own niche. So we were talking amongst ourselves, using Slick as an example, obviously most experienced sword guy here, and kind of tapping in and understanding when people kind of have a niche. So when you have questions on a specific species or rig or whatever, as you start to progress in your career, you kind of have a path or a direction to go in. That's where we were.
I think that starts with what Slick said, absorbing everything.
Yeah.
Absorbing everything on the ride out, watching the captain run the boat. So then when the captain wants to lay down for an hour, you know how to run the boat. You know how to
start the fucking boat. It surprised me how many people don't even ask that question.
Yeah. How do I start the boat if I need to? It's at night and you're watching the helm and everyone's asleep and it's one of your first canyon trips. You don't even know how to start the boat.
Yeah. But everything that goes along with running the boat, right? You're going out on these boats. Learn the boat, right? Learn the boat, learn boats in general. If you're doing this, if you're boating, before you're fishing, you're boating. You're on a vessel and you need to learn everything about the boat. Safety gear, how to operate the boat, how to keep everyone safe. Because when you get the chance to run the boat, you need to know how to do it, right? Drive the boat, watch the radar, keep everyone safe. And then after you learn the boat and all that, this is geared towards like a younger kid getting into it.
Yeah.
You know, learn the vessel, learn the boat, and then
they're not going to know that
learn the
right when they
fishing
get
stuff.
on, but they try to do all those things.
Right, but just watch, you know, and absorb it. And then learn the fishing stuff. Learn the bait rigging.
Yeah.
I was saying, I don't know if we caught it, but like ballyhoo, you know, learn how to rig ballyhoo and make that a part of your bag of tricks, you know, if you will. If you can be a bait guy, if you can rig ballyhoo, you're going to get invited, you're going to be a part of the team.
Yep.
If you can be that bait guy, you know, if you can be the wire and gaff guy, if you can be the bait guy, if fish come in the boat, you can chop the heads off and get them stuffed with ice. There's so many different ways that you can contribute. And it starts with just absorbing everything. When you're on those trips, your first few trips, right? Slick's first trip, my first trip, you're watching and you're absorbing. You're like, okay, I can do that. Next trip, I'm going to do that, you know?
Ask questions, develop your personal skills. Understand, back to understanding boats. Understand if you're on a blood and guts Duffy, like tuna taxi, or if you're on a fucking
It's a fine vessel. Okay.
But and know if you're on a, you know, Teak and Holly cockpit. I'm staring at Karma right now, one of the boats Ferruli runs. Yeah. And like just understanding like wetting teak before bringing a freaking gushing blood yellowfin on the boat. Yeah, that was one of them. We're all staring at the screensaver.
And then do it.
Yeah.
Once you've seen it, you know, 1 or 2 times or whatever, when 3 yellowfins hit the deck and the first mate is sitting there and he's going to cut 3 yellowfin heads off, be like, hey, let me get the Sawzall. Like, you know, where do you make the cut? Yeah. You know, like, where do I chop this head off? How do I get the gill plate out? You know? Yeah. Like, just get involved. Get involved.
Totally. Don't be passive. Be present.
Move with purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
holy shit.
Can you grab me that bucket? It's dude, got the bucket.
And like sitting down, it just looks bad itself too. Like kite fishing, trolling, whatever. I'm standing up. Like I'm watching, like always standing. Like
don't even talk to me. I just want to watch our baits. You know?
Always cleaning. If you're sitting in a cockpit, and something's out of place, put it back in place. If the hose is uncoiled, you know,
put it back where it goes.
Can you just keep telling him this shit, please?
I'm concentrating on everything else.
Brian's a perfectionist in the pit.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Brian's
OCD.
good. Brian's OCD in the pit, which is good.
It can be bad too. It can hurt your hook time if you're too focused on cleaning all the time. But I think at the end of the day, if you're organized, it's going to help your hook time. And ultimately, that's time on the water and hook time are the 2 most important things.
Yeah,
honestly,
time on the water, hook time.
Yep.
Cleaning is a big one, especially when you're on the sporties.
It is.
Learn how to clean. You know,
do it before you're told. Or asked.
Yeah. Show up early.
Stay late. Don't be the one that gets off the boat before like you haven't even loined a single tuna when you get back.
For sure. Oh, I got a good one.
Drives me crazy.
On the overnights, you know, on the overnights, one guy's usually staying up sword fishing, maybe 2 guys, and everyone usually, you know, dozes off when the sword baits are out or whatever it is. When, you know, in the canyons, when 3 a.m. rolls around or 3:40, be up. Like get up. Don't wait for the boat to start and hear commotion.
Right.
Get up and get the ballyhoos ready. Like you're gonna start trolling, right? The second those sword baits get in the water, you guys should be trolling. If you want to be effective and fish, get up, get the ballyhoos out, get them ready, get the riggers in place, bring the clips down, clip the spreader bars back onto the clip. You know, at nighttime. Yeah. At nighttime, when it's like, okay, we're gonna go sword fishing, you pull all your shit in. You know, it depends how you set up your sword fishing stuff, but you know, maybe you cut a ballyhoo off, you crimp a swivel on or whatever it is. Get everything ready. Clip on everything that's going to be trolling in the next 20 minutes. Like get up,
Or
get
if you
it
don't
ready.
know, wake the person up that knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That's one of my least favorite times out there.
It's
Is
tough.
Is that
Horrible.
like 2:30 when you're like, I know I need to rig like 12 select values right now.
Fingers.
And like my fingers hurt and I'm smoked, but you know you have to do it.
Your alarm's going off and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm going to snooze.
Yeah.
Like, 10 more minutes of sleep. Fuck that. Get up. You know, in February, you'll be mad at yourself.
Yeah.
You're drifting out in the canyons and you got that extra 20 minutes of sleep. What did that do for you? Nothing.
Save the nap for doldrum time. Doldrum middle of the daytime, or like if you're swapping to daytime fishing and like you can have a little bit less, involvement, I guess. You're going from 7 rods to 2 rods or whatever.
And know when to get your sleep too.
Yeah.
Like if your Cap's like, go get rest, like don't sit there and mess around. You know what I mean? Go lay down and try and get your rest if you can.
Yeah.
If you're told to sleep.
Listen to them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Goes
Man,
back
there's a
to the
million
hierarchy
things.
thing.
Don't try to be the tough guy.
There's a million
There's
things.
a million
There's a
things.
million things that come with
For me, I think
fitting in.
it's someone walking on the boat that's humble, kind of keeps to themselves a little bit, and just wants to learn. You know, like a lot of times it's the boss's son or whatever that hops on the boat. You know, has fished a few times or just getting into quote unquote just getting into canyon fishing. And they go right into the cabin and they're just chilling while you're out there rigging baits.
Yeah.
And it's just like. That's insane, and they claim they want to be or they claim they are a canyon fisherman, and they're really not,
Yeah.
grab a ballyhoo.
right?
The guy that's rigging ballyhoo, sit down next to him, grab a hoo, and figure out what he's doing.
Ruin like 7 of them.
Yeah.
Piss them off a little bit.
Grab the
make
nicest
a
one.
joke about it. Get over it. And
I mean,
have a
usually
great
there's usually a few in each pack that you can kind of discard. Anyway.
How's this?
Yeah.
The how's this? I can guarantee you the first how's this. It's not good, so don't even fucking.
Yeah, I don't.
It's all right if we're covered up on you. I'll pitch it in a pot for a mahi.
Yeah, we'll chunk that one.
Yeah. Well, boys, we've covered a lot. We've got like 2 hours of great stories, jokes, some really good advice for younger fishermen coming up. We could obviously go for hours and hours, and I know we'll do another one of these. But we just want to say thanks for coming down. It's been a long time coming. We've been kind of strategizing how to have you guys on here, and I think this worked beautifully. And you guys do awesome stuff. You're great fishermen. We admire both of you. It's been a pleasure fishing with you. I haven't fished with you yet, but looking forward to that experience. But yeah, no, you got a lot of great knowledge shared, and stuff like this helps people get into it so much faster and easier and the right way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it might sound strange, but I truly think it helps us and people like you guys that are out there every day, like people that understand the whole thing. It just benefits everyone.
For sure.
And
it makes it more fun. Like end of the day, we all share the same fishing addiction. We all love this shit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we all want to go do it, catch big fish, but we do it because it's fun. We enjoy it. And like that's the whole thing is like going out, enjoying it. You're with charter clients, you're trying to show them a good time, that whole thing. So when everybody's contributing and everybody is like having a good time together, that's the recipe.
That's what it's all about.
Totally.
That's what it's all about.
Totally. Any other questions, comments?
I mean, I have
stories?
a million questions, but I don't think.
Well, we'll have some offline land tuna stories once we wrap this up. But
We can talk
100%.
about
Cut that one out. We have 10 seconds after that.
Oh shit! All right, we're gonna end this on OG's 3 words of fishing wisdom. Remember, you can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last one, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight, everybody. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
hell yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. If you would like more information about today's guest, our episode and show sponsors, Or if you want to order hats and apparel, please visit our website at SeaBrosFishing.com. You can also stay up to date in all the latest SeaBros fishing content and podcast episodes by following us on Instagram at SeaBros Fishing. Finally, to book a trip with us through our family-run charter fishing company, please visit massbayguides.com or see our latest updates and fishing reports by following Mass Bay Guides on Instagram and Facebook.